This episode of Ouzo Talk is brought to you by Kingsford Smith Transport. Have a group that needs transporting? KST has you covered with their fleet of professionally maintained buses and coaches, catering from 9 to 57 passengers and driven by experienced drivers. Visit kstbuses.com.au to talk to the team and make your booking. Kingsford Smith Transport, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast. There's no Ouzo Talk without a bottle of Ouzo, which is why we love the Greek Providor. Get a real taste of the very best produce that Greece has to offer. From olive oils and delicious artisan sweets, to unique spirits, earthy herbs and memorable wines. Visit thegreekprovidor.com.au to see their amazing range. The Greek Providor, proud sponsors of the Ouzo Talk podcast.
Hey guys, it's Angelo, and last time I was in Sydney, Australia, I couldn't see my buddies at Ouzo Talk podcast, but we're revisiting that one now, so we laughed. These guys are awesome. Check out Ouzo Talk podcast. This is an old episode, but it's a funny one. Check it out.
Sound is.
Guess what, mate?
Tell me.
We have Tsarouchas.
Unbelievable.
And you know what? We're not even going to put fucking cream on it. Oh, man, be honest. When we started the podcast last year, did you ever think we'd have an international star guest join us?
Tom, we're pacing up and down Brighton. Who would have thought we'd be in this seat doing this, let alone having a international celebrity come here?
It's unbelievable. I'm so jazzed about having Angelo here in the distillery, all the way from Canada via LA, because I've been watching his comedy for a really long time now, and I'm guessing most English-speaking Greeks around the world have seen him as well. When did you catch a first glimpse of him?
First glimpse? Probably about 10 minutes ago. Or
In the flesh?
In the flesh, yeah. No, look.
When were you aware of him?
Look, YouTube is all over YouTube, all over any social media.
Yep.
I've got certain clips. I go, who's this guy? He's pretty funny. And then you looked him up, and then before we knew it, we're hooked as well.
Absolutely, and he's outstanding.
He is.
But look, let's stop pretending that he's not in the room. Angelo Tsarouchas, welcome to Australia and Ouzo Talk, my friend.
Thank you very much for letting me come on your show to find an Australian woman. Πρέπει να έχει λεφτά και δεν θέλω παιδιά και θέλω την εβδομάδα να μου δίνει λεφτά. Hi guys. I want to be that guy.
So if you're a single lady looking for a real man,
real man,
make sure you email us at ouzotalk@outlook.com and give us your credentials.
And I'm wearing my Ouzo Talk hat, which is great. Yeah,
it looks so good on you, mate. It suits you.
You know, I used to be a travel agent years ago
really?
in Canada before I did this.
There you go.
And I had a guy who was at University of Ottawa. He sounded like that.
Right.
So he used to come into the travel agency, and I go, Panayoti, put up Simara. I'm looking for the woman's too. And that's how he talked. Really creepy, right?
Yeah.
I go, look, you sound like a serial killer. And he goes to me in Greek, he goes, τι είναι αυτό, δεν το καταλαβαίνω, το cereal. Δεν είναι πρωινό αυτό που τρώνε το πρωί. I go, no, it's, you sound like a creep. To creep, to creep. You know, it's just so funny, man. It was just, and I just thought it was hilarious that.
Did he have one of those Olympic Airways models in the background?
No, he had a tote bag.
The tote bag.
I used to sell for Olympic Airways.
Did you really?
Yes. Olympic knew. So they would fly. This was the routing. It was, I think, Sydney, Melbourne, Montreal, Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Chicago, New York, maybe Boston. Those were the international flights.
Yep.
From everywhere else in the world. And, of course, Europe and everything else. So the Greeks always wanted to go on a direct flight.
Of course.
But because they're such nationalists, they would always be like, the Olympic Airways is the top. Δεν είναι υπάρχει καλύτερο.
Top in what?
Είναι το top. And they're
το καλύτερο.
Το καλύτερο. And
to the best.
But they always complained it was either the food was shit. They all smoke in the plane. So one lady said I put her in the non-smoking section, and everybody was smoking. And she called the flight attendant and said, "Συγγνώμη, όλοι καπνίζουν εδώ." Then ναι, άμα θες καπνίσε και εσύ. And they're like, well, no, but it's a non-smoking section. Έλα τώρα ζητάς πολλά.
Do you remember when you'd buy a seat in the non-smoking section, but they'd put you like one row away from it. Like it's going to make a difference.
Makes a difference.
From the curtain. That was the difference.
I'm smoking.
Yeah. Had one curtain be smokers and non-smokers.
Olympic pioneers of the self-service airline.
Yeah.
They really were.
They really were.
But you know, they had a great record.
They did.
In terms of safety,
Absolutely.
believe it or not, it was rated high.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the pilots were good. But the thing about, I think, like Olympic Airways, and at the time, you know, when Onassis created Olympic Airways, he was the first one to get the flight attendants in those stylish outfits
Yes.
with Pierre Cardin. When it was owned by Onassis, it was like a
classy.
real luxury, cool airline.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because that's the way he did things. And then the Greek government took it over. And then what do they have, like 80,000 employees? Everybody worked for Olympic.
Yep.
Everybody was getting comp tickets. I mean, it was a shit show in the end.
I had a
There
cousin
was
who used to
tape
work there.
holding the engine up, the wing.
I had a cousin who used to work there in engineering, and he said there was literally one person to put a screw in, another person to screw it, and
Yeah.
another person to watch the guy screwing the thing.
Screw. One guy
Unbelievable.
screwing, the guy screwing the screw.
Exactly.
Someone
stuff.
writing up a report.
But you know, it's funny because I know that the thing was they had the direct routes.
Yeah.
So you want to go direct. So I remember this one guy, Adoni, he came in and he goes to me, "Κανόνισε ένα τικέτο να πάμε στην Ελλάδα." I said, okay. And I said to him, "Τι πρώτη, έχω το KLM." KLM, Royal Dutch Airlines, great airline. I go, θα πας Montreal, Amsterdam, Amsterdam, Athena. Δεν πάω. Εγώ γιατί? Έχουν χάσει πόσες γριές έχουν χαθεί εκεί μέσα στο αεροδρόμιο. They think that old people get lost or abducted. I go, what? Έχουν χάσει πολλοί γέροι εκεί μέσα, δεν έχουν γυρίσει ποτέ. Εγώ θα πάω Olympic Airways.
The
And I
black
said-
hole.
The black hole. And I said, hold on. I said, so you're in Schiphol Airport, Amsterdam. You're telling me, δεν ξέρεις εσύ. This Greeks. He goes, a lot of people have gone missing
Okay.
in Amsterdam. Because, you know, Greeks, we're not conspiracists at all.
Nah.
No, not at all.
I don't know
And
any.
not at all. And I used to fucking laugh. And I thought, so I told the guy was Greek who worked at KLM in Montreal. And I told him, it took half an hour to get him off the floor.
Yeah.
He goes, what did he tell you?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say the guy's name. I had a client who
You're not going to say George's name.
was going because I told the guy.
Don't say George's name on air.
Zords from Montreal. No, but this guy went to the airport. He said, he goes to me, I'm only taking one thing with me. I said, that's no problem. Parto.
Yeah.
Oh God, what was it?
This guy shows up at the airport in Montreal. The station manager gets a phone call. Then I got a phone call. The guy showed up with a full fridge. One fridge stuffed with shit inside it. I have one thing to take to Greece, the fridge. And the guy goes, sir, that's... No, I asked the travel agent, Angelo, he says to me, I can take one thing. Yeah, malaka, one suitcase. I didn't say take a fucking fridge. So he takes a whole CEO. And at the airport, literally a check-in. And they called my friend Ernie, who was working there at the time. He goes, Ernie, you got to come see this. He goes, what? Oh, no, I thought I saw everything. And Ernie said he went there, and the guy had one fridge. He goes, there's one thing. I promised my sister in Greece I'm going to bring her a fridge.
Yeah.
And he put his clothes inside the freezer part and the other side, and they wrapped it, and he wrapped it up.
This is the hack of hacks.
Yeah, and what happened...
Always thinking outside the square, right?
That's it.
But you see, by law, even if you take something like that, they got to open it, make sure there's not a dead body
That's
inside
right.
it, right?
It's got to be the right weight.
I go, no, the guy had all kinds of stuff. And he called me and he says to me, δεν μου είπες ένα... I go, μια βαλίτσα σου είπα, τι είναι fridge. And the guy goes, they were laughing for weeks. Like, that story went viral that a guy took a fridge on KLM to go to Greece.
Was that his carry-on by any chance?
The other story was, it's funny you mentioned Olympic and you didn't know that I was a travel agent.
Classic.
We're going to make this. One time, Kyrios Alavras was his name. He was the station manager in Montreal. He told me the story. The ambassador at the time, because I was living in Ottawa, the ambassador of Greece was coming back with his wife, okay? And they put him in Olympic class, which is first class.
Yep.
Some Farmadoro there, some Tsopani brought a fucking live rabbit on the airplane. For real.
Wow.
And he fell asleep, and Lago ran out of the bag and was running all over the plane. And people were freaking out on the 747 going over. So they goes in Lago, and there were rabbits going around the airplane. I don't know, and they had to make an emergency landing in Dublin, Ireland. And they had to land the plane, and they had to find the rabbit.
And try and catch it.
But I think it's by law you can't bring it. I know in Australia you can't even bring a bag of chips from the plane.
You can't bring anything here.
Imagine a rabbit from Greece.
Yeah.
And the guy goes, "What the? Takes the lago? What do you?" He goes, I'm bringing it for my niece in Canada.
Να το κάνεις τυφάδο?
Yeah. Who knows? Because whatever we have pets, whatever people don't realize with Greeks, whatever pets we get, we end up eating them on Sunday.
That's it.
That's why I don't like lamb. You know?
I tell you what, I don't know if you know, Nick and I used to work for Qantas. That's where we met initially.
Interesting.
And so Nick's done customer service and check-in. I'm sure you've got a lot of stories, but you just reminded me.
Set up airports.
Yeah, there you
Keep
go.
on going, mate.
I know his list is. I won't say how long it is. You just reminded me of a
pretty long.
story. I was working in freight, and they lost a monkey on board underneath. Like it was in a cage.
They lost the monkey in the plane.
It got out of the cage, and it was running amok in the cargo hold, and they needed to bring people into to wrangle this monkey back into the cage, and it bit the handler.
Oh shit!
Wow. Did I tell you the cat story? A couple of baggage handlers open up the cargo hold, and we got these pets in cabins, sort of thing. Anyway, they grabbed this ginger cat, and they looked out. They shake the cage, and it wasn't moving, and the thing was dead. I thought, fuck, what do we do?
Oh, you have told me this story. Yeah,
I told you? Yeah. So I'm not sure how they got a hold of another ginger cat. They had another ginger cat. They took the collar off this cat. It looked exactly the same. I thought, fuck, ginger looked the same height. So they took the collar off this dead cat, put it on this live cat. This was in the 90s, actually. So,
right.
Yeah. So anyway, these baggage handlers go, fuck, what do we do? The supervisor, the genius he was, he goes, look, we've got wherever it was, they were in the freight shed to go, grab this other ginger cat. No one's cleaned it, or whatever it was. I don't remember the story, but he managed to put the collar on this live cat. Anyway, and the cat was running around, it was fine, so he handed it to the customer. It's a little old lady, and she nearly passed out. I go, what's wrong? She says, that's not my cat. Yes, it is. Look, it's got the collar. It's your cat.
Oh, no.
She goes, my cat was dead. I was bringing it back to bury it.
She's repatriating the cat.
Oh, my God. The cat.
The cat's alive.
Christ is risen. Your cat. Christos anesi etigata. Your cat risen again. Kali Anastasi.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus.
The resurrection of the ginger cat.
Yeah, it's back.
Dude, that is hilarious.
It is.
That is hilarious.
We could go on forever.
Absolutely.
We should bring in Ange. I'm sure we've got a lot of airline stories.
Look, we could talk all day about stories like that, but I've got a hard-earned thirst, Nick. What do you reckon? Should we get into it properly?
I think so, mate. Let's go.
Stinia mas παιδιά. Welcome, Angelo.
Stinia. Here we go. Here we are.
See you, Ange.
Πάντα
Here in the
τέτοια.
distillery.
Είναι καλό για το λαιμό.
That's it.
I had a Thea that would do that. She used to make her own booze.
Yeah.
And she made Grand Marnier, Tsiporo, and I go, τι είναι Thea, είναι για το λαιμό, είναι καλό για το λαιμό. The Greeks have an idea.
Yeah.
It's good for your wind passages.
Yeah. Never get sick.
Ouzo is the cure-all, along with...
Hey, those old Greeks lived to 110, 115.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're pounding back a kilo of krasi a day.
Yeah.
And all these people are vitamins and skatan.
That's why they're
doing
so
a marathon. And they weigh 100 pounds and they die.
That's right. It's that Cipro, mate. Kills anything.
That's it. Well, look, we've given Angelo free rein to pick whatever he wanted to drink today. And Angelo, you went with the Plomari.
Plomari, it's good stuff.
Good stuff, isn't it? What do you reckon? Have you do you drink a lot of Ouzo?
You know, I do. I would get stuff like Ouzo 12.
Okay.
And my mom's from Mytilene, so they're famous for Ouzo.
Plomari.
Yes.
And my dad's from Sparti, so just for everybody listening. Spartiates don't like Nisiotes. Doesn't matter what island you're from. They want to kill you. They don't care. So it's so funny because my mom was really the funny one, open one.
Yeah.
Dad was just, Sparta.
Yeah.
It was just so funny. I think that's what I'm a mixture. There's days where I'm like him, and then there's most days I'm like my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember going to Mitilini as a kid, and my dad wouldn't go.
Yeah.
Because they're all communists.
Yeah.
Right.
This is the mentality. And I go, "Pois, e comune FIS tipo tá aqui." I go, "It's a nice place. What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of lesbians there because it's Lesbo.
Yep.
I got the whole story of Saint-Fort, the whole thing. There's a Queen labor camp. And I told a friend of mine this, I remember in the 3rd grade in Canada, and they sent me to the principal's office for saying my mom's from an island of lesbians. Until I said, do your research. And my mother came in and said, I am from an island of lesbians. I'm a lesbian. Let my son go.
Yeah.
Because the term for people from Lesbo is lesbian.
Okay.
So the way you would say Aussies, Americans, from that thing, that's the term.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when I said Lesbos, which is spelled Lesbos, everyone would say, they would hear the term lesbian, or they hear all these terms, and we knew them as different. So when I in my comedy, sometimes everybody thinks it's Kutamares, right? But the reality is there's a lot of things that is real. So in Greeks, and I'll say this here, I was in Greece, and the guy says, my cousin goes,
Love that word.
you're only gay if you're the guy taking it, not the guy giving it. I go, okay, hold on, Stelio. And I'm talking.
Is that called Budzaras?
Kolobaras.
Kolobaras.
Right. Is that what it is?
So yes, true story. Yeah. So I said, hold on. So the guy taking it in the bum,
gay.
He's gay.
Yeah.
Now the other guy
Giving it.
putting it in his bum, no, he's not gay.
Is that Kolobaras?
Kolobaras. I go, really? And so this guy takes his dick and puts it in that guy's golo. The guy getting it in the golo is the gay one, but that guy, he's off the hook. He's not gay.
He's like a legend.
He's like a legend, that guy.
Kolobaras.
And he goes to me, yeah. And I said, and I thought that was the funniest thing in the world. He's not gay. Yeah. And then I do the joke. I go, if a guy can put his dick in my bum, then he deserves to. Because, I mean, if you can, because everybody goes, well, gay people it's a sensitive subject. Hold on. Men making love to men, you got to be tough.
Yeah.
A guy with a guy. I got to say, a guy with a woman. A guy with a guy, that's tough.
That's a challenge.
You got to admire that.
Yeah.
So if a guy can put his dick in my bum, then he deserves it. What happened? He got me in a headlock. He twisted me around. He shoved it in. I mean, fuck, I give him credit, man. He was strong. And that's the whole idea of it. And then that's the whole thing. So it's funny because some people will say, "Oh, that you sound like you have a phobia of gays." And we're Greek. We fucking started all this shit.
We invented it, mate.
Lesbian. I said, my dad's from Sparta.
Yeah.
Those guys were drilling each other up the bum for years at war. And my mom's from the donut bumper island, fucking Lesbo. Yeah. I'm a Spartan lesbian. What do you mean I got phobias? We created this shit. We're the ones that did it. So if you're the originators, it doesn't matter. It's so funny. And then you know what happened? The guy goes, I did my research, and I have to admit, you're not wrong. He goes, Spartan warriors. I said, why? I'm telling you, buddy, I can only talk about this. Anything you talk about, if you do it in confidence, if you do it with confidence, the guy's not lying to you.
Okay.
But the guy, because if you go to Greece and people listening, Greeks don't want to admit what I just said is right. Yeah. But it is. Yeah. You've heard it from your weird relatives when you go to the village. Yeah. It's usually at 1 or 2 in the morning. They're testing you. Like, say, hey, spy po test, man. I go, what? And then he said, mono aptos putodini, and it's so funny, man. It's like,
well, we got a word for it. Kolobaras.
Kolobaras.
That's it.
Ass rammer, right? Kolobaras. The guy's an ass rammer. Now you're asking me, how did we get to ass fucking from Olympic Airways?
I don't know.
It's the whole thing.
I don't know.
All I know is this
Cheers,
is
mate.
going down
Cheers,
really
guys.
well.
Cheers. Cheers.
Welcome, man.
It's
We're
the Plomati talking right
We're
now.
off to a flying
From
start.
Mytilene too, by the way.
Mytilene, beautiful place, man.
Make great ouzo.
Beautiful, beautiful place. I hope I go there next year.
Yeah.
Mytilene.
Well, look, we're off to a flying start, but we thought, given you've come to Australia, we thought we'd also give you an official Aussie welcome with our standard beer, which isn't fucking Foster's, let me tell you.
I know. Why does everybody think it's Foster's?
I don't know.
for
It doesn't
beer?
exist.
Foster's for beer.
Yeah. So, look, this is VB.
Oh, Victoria Bitter.
That's the one.
Where
It's,
did you get that from, Tom?
well, mate, I just rub a lamp and it appears.
Oh my God. Where did you pull that out of?
So this is VB. You can take that one.
VB.
Hold on a second.
You drink it in the can. You don't have to pour it
Yeah,
in the cup.
and look, this is the shit we drink. Generally wearing the Australian national costume, which is
Bravo.
thongs or flip flops, depending on how you.
Right, that's right. Yeah.
You know,
That's what I'm wearing now.
Right, thongs and football. I don't.
national costume, thongs/flip flops, board shorts.
Or short shorts.
Yep, a singlet, usually navy in colour, with an Australian flag wrapped around you as a cape, and a bucket hat. This is real Australiana here, so
Dude, no Vegemite.
we've got some if you want.
Some Vegemite?
I tried it once. It tastes like golo on toast. What the hell was
golo
that? It's
tastes
good. I know
like, yeah.
people like it. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. We should call this the friggin' Boozer Jamboree
That's it.
podcast.
That's
Yeah,
it.
it probably is.
We're doing well for the for the Australian reputation,
Victoria
aren't
Bitter.
That's it.
Is this from
It's actually a Melbourne.
Melbourne? I was going to say,
Yeah.
right.
That's right.
So every time I go to Melbourne, my cousins take me to St. Kilda game.
we? Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay, and they play Collingwood usually.
Yeah.
Every time I've gone, they won.
St Kilda.
I've been to about 4 or 5 games. Whenever, for some reason, whenever I'm here, they play Collingwood or some other top team.
Yep.
And St. Kilda's a
Kilda
shit
win.
take, but every time I've gone, they've never lost.
You're
And
the
I
lucky
saw
charm,
I
mate.
saw Eric Bana at one of the games, and I met Eric in L.A. at the premiere for Funny People.
Right.
When he played with Leslie Mann and all those guys with Adam Sandler. So he I remembered me. We were talking, and I didn't realize he was such a mental patient for St. Kilda. He goes fucking crazy, man. I was sitting close to him. I
Yeah,
go,
Victorians are big for their AFL.
They are.
Big.
They're mad.
Yeah.
they're mad about it, and I get it because coming from Canada, and we're cuckoo for hockey. That's our game, and Canadian rules football.
See, we're not big on the AFL here.
You're not big on it, no?
No, we're all about the rugby league, National Rugby League.
The rugby league has teams also in Melbourne, right?
One team.
One,
Or just one team?
just one team.
Yeah,
Melbourne.
Queensland has 3. I think soon to be 4 next year.
And how many
4
here?
teams, 9.
9.
9.
Yes.
Okay, so it's now what's the Australian rules football
Yes.
and rugby? What are the differences?
Okay.
So there's actually 3. There's rugby union, rugby league,
Right.
and
So 2 different
AFL.
sports. Rugby union, rugby league are 2 different
Right.
sports, and then you've got the AFL,
Sounds
which
like
is
Greek restaurant owners. Θα ανοίξω το δικό μου rugby league. That's
it.
That's right. That's exactly
That's
what
pretty
happened.
much what happened.
That's what happened.
Yeah.
Stuff
They
you
split.
will create our own comp, and this
That's
is our
it.
rules.
120 odd years ago now.
Yeah.
in
So it's like the Catholic and Orthodox Church.
kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that's
very similar.
1,000 years ago, they're like, forget about
Yep.
it.
Yeah, 1054, I think.
That's
I remember
right.
Reading about
That's
it.
right. Yeah, that's right.
So my team is the South Sydney Rabbitohs, who are
Right.
owned by Russell Crowe, co-owned by Russell Crowe.
St George Dragons, or they're called Illawarra Dragons. St George Illawarra Dragons.
And
This
that's
is
what
the
we
team
follow.
around here. This is the St George area you're in now. This is our team. Yeah. So if you go around here, most people around here, actually, you should be going for the Dragons, Tom.
No, I shouldn't.
This is our area. You live around here.
I grew up in the southeastern suburbs, mate.
I did a movie with Russell Crowe,
Did you
Oh,
really?
Cinderella Man.
Oh
Oh, the
I
boxing.
play a reporter.
I know Russell.
You know Russell?
I do. I used to
I
work
did-
for him.
I did a movie with him, and he was in Toronto. We did it in Toronto.
Right.
And he's a big D. He loves coffee. And my friend has a coffee place called Gatto Nero in Little Italy. And we were on set, and he had the guy Spud, that big
Mark Carroll, who
Mark
played
Carroll. But guy's like 7 feet tall,
who played for the Rabbitohs.
Front rower.
and he's his bodyguard.
Yep.
I'll tell you a story about that guy. So,
About Spud. Oh my god.
Oh, here we go.
Spud.
Exclusive.
So Ron Howard is in the ring. Russell Crowe is playing James Braddock,
Okay.
the
Yep.
Cinderella Man they call
Yeah,
him.
that's
During
right.
the Depression.
Boxer. Yep.
He lost weight. It was Renee Zellweger, Paul Giamatti. I played John Savage, New York Times reporter. Mark Streeter is a Canadian middleweight boxing champion. Whenever they make these movies, they bring in guys that used to box. And it turns out Russell kind of gives a right shot into Mark's shoulder.
Okay.
And Mark instantly, being the boxer, comes back with a left
Yeah.
and hits Russell down.
Knocked him out.
Now, in regular life, that's what happens in boxing. Not in a $100 million Universal Pictures movie. So Russell went down, and you saw Ron Howard get up, Brian Grazer, I was right there. And that Spud guy flew into the ring, man. We're filming a movie. This isn't...
Yep.
Angelo Dundee was in the corner, who is Muhammad
yes.
Ali's...
Yep.
Then he was there. Russell had brought him as a consultant, and they put him in the film. I became friends with him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they came into the film, and Russell's like, "It's all right, mate. It's all right." Like, Russell's a tough guy, right? He goes, "No, it's okay. Don't worry about it." But he was having problems with his shoulder.
Yeah,
we were
right.
delaying on the film. No, this is a film with massive stars and massive money. Every day cost them $1 million.
So who had the sore shoulder? Russell.
Russell.
Okay. Yeah.
Because he had lost so much weight for the thing.
Okay.
So basically, it's a boxing movie. We're boxing, but we're not boxing.
Yeah.
But the star of the film, you don't hit
Rocky
him.
Balboa.
Yeah, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
who you are and what he did. Russell wanted it to be it was a good scene. Ron Howard was there, but that Spud goes, he looks at that guy. He goes, "Oh, you fucking cunt, I'll rip your fucking head off," right there.
Wow.
And this guy's a monster, man. And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He just flew into the ring. But he was watched out for Russell.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it did. And I thought to myself, even though we were doing a movie, guys, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because, and this happened, and the film obviously got delayed. Russell kept getting hurt.
Yeah.
But it was so funny. My friend, so I told Russell, he goes, "Can't get a good coffee here in Toronto." I go, "I know that my friends have the Gatto Nero in Little Italy."
Yeah.
"All right." He goes, "Where is it?" He goes, "I'm going to go try it on Sunday." Well, doesn't he go there? He loves it.
Yeah.
So every day, so the Gatto Nero's on College Street in Toronto. We were filming at the old Maple Leaf Gardens where the Toronto Maple Leafs play, because it looked like
Right.
those old buildings in New York in the 30s. Every morning, they'd send the guy to Gatto Nero, 120 coffees by hand. And Russell wanted them for the crew. So I go in there, Salvatore's dad is there. He goes, "You son of a bitch." He goes, "This fucking Crow Russell. He comes in every day. He send the guy here. Do you want 100, 120 coffee?" Make, what the fuck? But he was half joking.
Yeah.
120 coffees a day is a lot of money for like 3 months.
Oh.
So he goes, "Anytime you
do
come
that
in
again.
now, you don't pay for nothing here. I don't give a shit. You have whatever you want, you don't pay." Because he told his son, Michael, and he goes, "Angelo," because I told him, he goes, "Who told you to come here?" He goes, "I'm working with, there's a Greek bloke on the thing, Angelo." And he goes, I don't even know if Russell remembers me now, so long ago.
Yeah.
But it was so funny because it was like, imagine because they didn't like the coffee, and when you're a superstar, you do things like that. So they were able to get 100, 120 coffees, like whatever, lattes, whatever. And the Italians goes, "I got to bring my wife in, I got to bring my daughter in," and they're making them.
Yeah.
And the transport guys would take them
Couple
and bring
at
them
a
on
time.
set.
Wow.
So he was happy. I never
Unbelievable.
paid for a meal there for years.
Wow.
God.
I got to tell you about Mark Carroll, or Spud. He was my favorite player growing up because he used to play for the Rabbitohs. He is one person that you want on your team. Absolute mental case. Someone fucked with a player on the Rabbitohs
He's there.
side. He was the first one in. Always the first one in and swinging. He's not someone you wanted to meet in a
You've got
dark alley.
to see YouTube clips of him. Him and Paul Harrigan, guy from Newcastle.
Oh, yeah.
They were literally knocking each other out.
Yeah.
Really?
And this is no pads. This is no protection. These guys
helmets.
are just going
Hey,
hammer
Go
and
in
tong.
head first.
I saw him flying to the ring, dude, and it was like this, like it was like an Airbus came into the freaking ring. I was like, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And Russell's going, and Russell Crowe's a tough guy. He goes, "Don't worry about it, mate. It's okay. Don't worry about it." He hit me. I can't think about it.
Classic.
Jeez,
Yeah,
good
that's
stuff.
Spud. What a story. Great
Very
story.
interesting. Well, look, before we go any further, we actually have an announcement to make. We've gone deep into this episode already, but Ouzo Talk announcement. You ready for it? So, the Antenna group, you know about Antenna in Greece, the channel. So they've taken notice of our podcast. And
Certainly have.
they have a radio and podcasting service called soundiz.gr. And, drum roll, I'll do that in post. They've actually asked that we become the first English-speaking program on their platform.
That's really dope.
So the first English-speaking program in the Antenna group. Ouzo Talk.
How good is that?
Can you believe
Tom?
it?
We've been, 6 months into it?
Yes.
That's really good, guys. Congratulations.
Thank you very much. Congratulations, Nick.
Yeah, thank you. Congratulations to Tom, mate.
So we'll be joining around 36 existing podcasts in their stable, all of them delivered in Greek, and we're going to be the first ever English content that they've got. It's a pretty big deal.
It is, mate. I'm not going to miss
think it's
those
great.
midnight calls that we've
I
been
know.
doing with Greece. And,
I know.
talking about what the fuck we're going to do.
What time is it in Greece now?
Who knows? Get your iPhone out. Start making phone calls.
I fucking know.
Thank you to Soundiz. Thank you to Antenna Group for jumping on board. Thank you, Natalia, for all the...
Thanks for reaching out to us.
Absolutely. We're
Reached
proud
out
of
to
you.
us and said, "Are you guys interested?" Fuck yeah, we're interested.
Just like that. As well.
Great.
In a very Australian way, we're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, we're in.
yeah, we're in like Flynn.
That's
Good
it.
for you guys. I mean, I think the Greeks now in Greece realize. I'm talking with food. Thought about
That's
so
okay.
off
Go
on my
for it.
mouth.
Mate,
Well, we've got a spread happening here again.
it's all about Padea.
This
what
really
That's
is
what we do.
Ouzo Talk, buddy. You do
That's
it right.
Thanks, brother.
And the thing is that I think they're realizing now in Greece, a lot of them are realizing that they got to do work in the diaspora. The population of Greeks in the world is not increasing. It's actually not. It's I think the lowest birth rate in Europe is Greece.
Is that right?
True story. So they have to now realize we got to include everybody. But I've been told this, and through some of the comedy bits I've done, like the one about the expressions and everything's changing. He goes, these were sayings that were forgotten in Greece. And he goes, you did this video, and then all of a sudden everybody's like, oh shit, that's what it means. And it was a revival. That one video, I think it's the one Greek sayings translated.
Yes.
There was over 12, 13 million views.
Mate, I was one of them.
Yeah, and it was like people were like, because these were sayings our parents kind of left. My dad left Greece in 1949. My mom. So I mean, the whole idea was, yeah, you're bad weather.
The Fasksilla.
And you know the Greeks will correct me. Deninetsi. I go, no, that's how we heard it.
Yeah, exactly.
And the thing is that I think because I have a form of dyslexia where if I look at something, I reverse it, and if it's Greek, I turn it to English.
Yeah.
So I thought, I'm going to cook some fish on your lips. What the fuck does that mean? So I would do it in the act, and then the Greeks were like, it is an expression.
Yeah.
But you see, sometimes they get mad at me because they're like, you're making fun of us. No. I didn't make fun of you. I said, I'm taking what we say in Greek,
Yep.
translating it to English.
And then
You never
visualize it.
thought of it.
Exactly.
That's the difference. That you never thought of these things that I did.
Yep.
And I always saw it and I thought, well, let me just do this bit. And then when I went to Greece and Tavro, where we did a night in Athens where I filmed it, the Greeks loved it.
Yep.
Because they were like, come, and then all of a sudden now, I could tell you I probably got 100,000 of them sent to me on social media.
Yep.
Αυτό inarachni με το μέλι. I mean, there's all kinds of them that you can get from, depends what part of Greece you're in.
Yeah.
So in a way, the diaspora, us children of the diaspora, have stirred up the pot in Greece for them, and they know this now.
Yeah.
They do know it.
Is a lot of comedy lost on the Greeks over there, do you think? Like, do they not get it? Is it
No,
purely
I
for
think-
the diaspora?
See, when I went to do my comedy special, comedy was there, but it wasn't there. Now it's really taken off. There's some really good Greek comedians. Katerina Vrana, who I met in Australia a few years ago, George Zakharopoulos, Yorgos Hadzipavlo, Labros Fisfis. There's I got Chrysula, who's really funny. There's a lot of good Greek comics now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good talent in Greece. And what I was trying to tell the guys, I said, okay, so a lot of the guys want to come over to America or Canada or here. I said, okay, here's the difference. I said, you're funny. You talk too fast. So you can't, when I was working with some of them in Greece, I heard the crowd laughing. I got every second or third word, and I'm trying to explain to them. I say we don't speak Greek. We speak Greek, like we have conversational Greek. We don't speak it day and night. It's not our thing.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I thought I could speak Greek and understand until I got degrees. And I'm trying to watch the news. I go, I don't know what the fuck
The
they're
news.
saying.
Watch the
Oh,
news.
yeah, news.
Oh,
It's
my
like,
God.
you know, and I do that in my act. I talk about the bing, bing, ling, bing, ling, ling, bing, bing, ling, ling. And it's like, what just happened? You know, the guy, he muffles, he talks. I asked my mom, she understood everything.
Translate. Yeah.
What did you understand? I said. So I think you're right. You're right, because what happens, and I've told them, I said, you guys are funny, but you got to slow it down.
Yeah.
For the Greek, because I said we can't process it.
Yeah.
No, we need
Absolutely.
a translator. I actually asked for a translator. What the hell did he just
So
say?
and I told
They're
you,
translating English.
but you see, they're all speaking English now in Greece. So my stuff, because here's the advantage I have, is because I have Greek, understand it, and I understand the nuances of it.
Yep.
So it's a different thing. So I'm not claiming to be a Greek professor of language. So when I go to Greece, I go, I'm going to speak Greek the way you guys speak English.
Yeah.
So we're on the same plateau.
analogy.
Okay. So I think they read the Greek, and I think that's why
It's a good way to put it.
they like it. They like what I'm doing because they can relate to it, because they all have relatives. Every one of them has a relative in Sydney, Melbourne, Montreal, New York, Vancouver. It doesn't, Johannesburg. They all have relatives.
Yep.
Because every Greek in the world does one thing every year. We're like the fucking Canadian geese. We migrate back to the Horia. I mean, they struggle to leave the village, and every summer, all the Greeks get together. They should do like a David Attenborough video.
Honestly.
The Greek immigrants all come back in June to August, and they plug up the Horia, and then have you ever noticed it? Because it's so true, though. And I did a funny, interesting thing here. 2016,
Yep.
I was at the Vanilla Cafe in Oakley,
Yes.
Okay,
in
Melbourne.
Melbourne,
Yep.
yeah, which is a beautiful little suburb that's
Full
all
of
Greeks.
Yes.
And actually, that was more Greek than Glyfada was in Greece, I thought, going
Yep.
to that one there. It really is.
It's true.
Good point.
So the guy says to me, where my dad's village is from Greece, Daphne, which is south, not the mental institution, which could be, but the one from Greece, south of Sparti.
Yeah.
There's a lot of my dad's friends, the Horiani, who are from there, who live in Melbourne.
Shit.
And I knew this a lot. There's actually more living in Melbourne than in the Horio now. So the guy goes to me, we got some of your relatives, people that you knew, your family. They want to get together and meet with you. So Bill Zografos, who works with the TV station, goes, I'm going to come and film it. Okay. I go, how many? 15, 20 people are going to show up. Okay, cool. We'll have lunch,
One
Say
family.
hello, people. 185 people show
You're
up.
kidding.
185 people.
It's small.
Now, here's the thing I found fascinating. They showed up, whether we were in Melbourne, whether we were in Montreal, it was the same. If I take you two and bring it to Canada, those picnics and stuff, you're going to sit there, you're going to hear my accent with most people.
Yep.
Once it's Greek and stuff, you're going to sit there, and I guarantee you're going to think you're back in Sydney or those church. It's the same. And when I realized, whether it was Sydney, whether it was Johannesburg or London or other places I've been to, when it came to that, guys, it was the same.
Yeah, definitely.
So I said, why don't we do a reunion in Daphne? It was 2016.
Yep.
Why don't we do a reunion in 2019 in my dad's village? August 15, which I know is winter for you guys.
The Cape d'Augusto
The
as
Cafe
well.
d'Augusto, which is, Maria, my mom's name day, Despina, Peter,
yeah.
So the guy goes, I said, and when they asked me in Melbourne, 2016.
This originated in Melbourne.
Melbourne.
like you
It
say.
happened in Melbourne.
What?
I got the idea. I saw because all these people told me I knew your grandfather, I knew your dad. One guy's crying. Εμείς πήγαμε στην Πειραιά, εγώ πήγα σε πλοίο που πήγε στην Αυστραλία, ο πατέρας σου πήγε σε πλοίο που τον πήγε στον Καναδά.
Wow.
15 years old last time he saw my dad.
Wow.
So it got really emotional.
So you met a guy that met your dad.
He
in
knew my
Melbourne.
dad. They came up from the village together. They went to Piraeus to the port. One got on a ship to Australia. One got on a ship to Canada.
Kidding.
Wow.
Imagine 15-year-old after the war. And it's funny because I used to ask my dad, I go, why'd you go to Canada? He goes, Mipos ξέραμε που πήγαμε. You think your parents knew where they were going? No.
Nope.
My parents didn't know. But imagine the balls on them. They went.
Yeah, definitely.
They look at us. Look at this. We're doing a pod. You have a beautiful place here.
Yeah.
You're doing a pod. We're doing a podcast about our culture and life because somebody in our family and our legacy got on a fucking ship and went somewhere they didn't know where they were going.
That's right.
That's to me brave.
Yeah.
And young.
And young, like 15 years old. So the guy's bawling, right? I saw your dad. My dad never saw him again. My dad died of Alzheimer's, unfortunately.
Right.
So I said, look, I came in my head and I said, you know what? Why don't we do a World Daphne Day? FMA from my ass. I pulled it out. Let's do a World Daphne Day. We're going to go to Daphne 2019 on August 15, one day from around the world. We're going to, anybody who's, and what I said was people from Daphne, friends of people from Daphne, you know, whatever. Just, we're going to do this thing. That next day, I do a salida, I do a page in Facebook called World Daphne Day, and I put the date, it was 2016.
Yep.
I put the date 2019. I leave it. I invite some people, and people start inviting people. And our only reference to this, guys, was the Facebook page.
Yep.
And I said 2019, I want to take my daughter to see it. I took my wife, my mom came. So speed up now, it's 3 years later. So the other thing I like about Greeks, they only need an excuse to do something. So the guy goes, you know, we weren't going to go to Greece. World Daphne Day.
Yeah.
So they'll take anything, you know, it's Plomari Day. We got to go to Greece. The guy goes, no, I want to go to Greece. I want to go to this thing. So all of a sudden, I get a call from the proidro of the village, Yanni.
Yeah.
And he goes, Γιάννα σου πω, τι θα κάνεις στις 15. Εγώ, τι, θα πάω στο χωριό, ξέρεις. Ναι, μωρέ, παίρνουνε τηλέφωνο, η καθημερινή εφημερίδα πήρε τηλέφωνο. All of a sudden, because I've been to Greece, the newspapers were calling, Alpha TV called, the station, all these people were calling, τι κάνει ο Tsarouchas? And I swear it was at that Vanilla Cafe in Melbourne, and
in Oakley.
Neil Cosmos did an article about it.
Yep.
So a month before, I get another phone call, and I'm still in LA, and he goes to me, Tarthis, I go, nah. Now, one thing about Greeks,
stress.
When it comes to numbers, they never give you numbers.
Oh, yeah.
That's against the rules being Greek.
It's always low.
Even with weddings.
Yeah, everything. Big settle. Now, I know.
Dio tria.
Now, you know something's going to be good when they don't fucking know the numbers, right? So I said, okay, don't worry about it. So we go there. Now, it's August 15th, you know, and Sparta, all the villages have the panigiria, right? So he goes, well, it's a big day. Day comes, we go to the village. 2,200 people showed up.
You're kidding.
And the village is 700. I was expecting 100, 150. Australia, Germany, Canada, America, South Africa.
Unbelievable.
All around Thessaloniki, London, Berlin. People were coming from, they ran out of chairs. They had to go to the other Korea and get chairs.
You're kidding.
And all the tavernas were full speed, making money.
What a story.
I think, and they won't admit it, they didn't want to tell me because they thought, oh, I'm going to shake them down for cash. I go, no. I said, I did. So he goes, what are we going to do? So I went, I did a show. So they had built the stage, and I got up there, and I talked about how this happened, and I talked about my dad's dreams about the village, and all the stuff. And it was it's 100 degrees, about 35 Celsius.
Yeah, sure.
In Greece, it's hot as shit.
In August.
In August. Yeah. But I didn't care, and I saw my daughter there with all the kids running around, and it made me realize, even though my dad wasn't there, I said it made me happy to know that for one day that we went back to the village, I was able to take my daughter and everybody there and do something out of thin air. Yeah. They couldn't. they couldn't grasp the concept.
Yeah.
And he goes, "Mali catalaveno." And then he goes, "Me perne." I said, because I think they like the idea that we, the children that left of the children, now we're coming back to Greece. And now I think they see the value in that right now. They see that. What you guys are doing right here with Ouzo Talk, we're having fun. But look what we're talking about. People want to hear these stories. And it's not just me. Anybody's stories are great, like George the Fighter, or you can get Nico the Baker. It doesn't matter. You bring people in. Everybody's got a story. And this one happened in Greece, and then it happened. And I think a news agency in Canada tried to say it was Toronto because they felt like idiots now. And they go, "Oh, I think it was at a cafe in Toronto." No, it was a cafe in Melbourne, Australia. And this is what started it, the idea. So now they're calling me a Canomanalo.
Yeah.
Wow, they want it every year now.
They want to do it
That would
annual.
have been huge, even for their economy.
Yeah, I was just going to say.
They had people coming in. Guys, I was so happy. The guys said, "You made our summer.
Yeah.
You made our summer with this." They were packed.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But
the
imagine,
cafes.
it was 2019. What happened 2020?
Yeah.
How did we pick the numbers? But the numerology worked. 12-2019. So it worked. But I said, imagine if this was 2020, it would have been a bust.
Yeah.
So those are the kind of things and I think now, I'm not surprised that those guys are going to bring you guys on with it now. They realize now they got to be inclusive of this because these are stories and things that they forgot that we're reminding them about now.
Yeah. Well, that's what they say. We're more Greek than the Greeks in Greece.
Yep.
They're trying to get more Anglified. We're going back to our roots.
We're going through
and
the
our
other way.
ancestors. Yeah, definitely.
One of the comments that was made to us from over there was that listening to us was almost like looking at Greece through rose-colored glasses.
Right.
In a good way, in the sense that it was reminding people of, oh yeah, shit, we do have all these great things as well. It's not all this doom and gloom.
Well, you just hit it on the head, I think. Look, in fairness to them, they've been beaten up. They've never left Greece alone. Then this whole thing with the IMF crisis, which, in my opinion, fuck the Germans and fuck the French because they manipulated that whole market. They took the lion's share of it, and they tried to make Greece the scapegoat. And I'm like, you know what? With the Germans, it's like, forget it. I mean, I'm thinking all the shit you guys did, and now you're going to try to blame it on Greece. And the Greeks they were resistant in World War II, and they're resistant now. But I think now they've changed things around a lot.
We've actually paid all that debt back, haven't we?
It's all paid off.
Yeah.
Not parta. And I bet you they even gave him a tip. Parte che tira.
Parte che fatta.
Parte che fatta. Good for the Greeks, man.
Good on it.
Oh dear, that's great.
I love it. Love your passion, mate.
Well, what was it like growing up Greek in Canada? Nick's a little bit older than I am, so he caught the back end of a lot of racism. Was it the same in Canada?
Well, it's funny you say that because I notice now that I live in America, they got it. They were very prejudiced about Greeks.
Right.
So AHEPA, which is the American Hellenic Educational Progressive Association, was formed in 1922.
We got one here.
You have a branch here, I think.
Rockdale.
We
too
do.
Over here. And it was
5 minutes drive from here.
right from here. They made that in 1922. There were signs in Atlanta, Georgia, that said no Jews, no blacks, no Greeks.
Wow.
So it was included. And if you look at the history of America, Iakovos, in 1964, it's Selma, the crossing of the bridge with Dr. Martin Luther King. When he was doing the peaceful march, if you look to his right, it was the leader of the Greek Orthodox Church of America. They told him not to do it. He said, mi pas, mi tokanis, but the Greeks, because we understand philotimo and we understand persecution of people's rights and freedoms. If anybody understands it, we do. And I've had this argument with people in the States. Go, well, you're a white guy. I go, we're white ethnic. But I said, all this stuff you're talking about, we went through it too.
For 400 years.
For 400 years. And I said, if you look at this article, they see that's a problem. That's why you need this platform to tell people, to educate people, to understand. I said, on the right of Dr. Martin Luther King was the leader of the Greek Church of America, Iakovos, right beside him. And I said, and a couple of rabbis were there too, the Jews went, and the thing is this, because they told him not to go, but he said, they knew the pain and the progression of people, and they supported that. So whenever they come to me and tell me that you guys are saying, oh, whoa, 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 wait a second, man. You're maybe right color, wrong people, I said.
Yeah.
We were right beside you, brother. We were right there beside you.
Yep.
Everything. So I think they were discouraged to speak Greek in America. So they wouldn't speak Greek. And now they regret it. A lot of them that I talk to regret it because they're like, well, they're almost like I'll go there and they go, I go, yes, they go, oh, whoa. We don't speak. We weren't born in Greece like you. I go, I was born in Canada. Now, for me growing up, my dad said in the 50s in Canada, the Greeks were called DPs, displaced people.
Right.
Fucking DPs, they called them. And that's what they would call them. So my dad said he experienced the racism. But I think Canada, as a multicultural country, was one of the first ones to be multicultural. When I went first grade in Canada, none of us could speak English because our moms were all speaking Greek.
That was me.
So they all thought we were special needs, right? They go,
We call it ESL here, English Second Language.
Yeah.
yeah, right, exactly. So I think what happened there, guys, what happened there was that in Canada, in my era, there was some of it. The kids would make fun of it. We beat the fuck out of them if they made fun of us. And then it was like, it became that kind of a thing. But I noticed now as it progressed, I'll say this about Canada, multiculturally speaking, and it was one of those countries. And I know that Australia and America and other places, it took longer.
Yep.
Because they just had a predisposed idea of how the world should be. And, with America, with slavery and racism and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I'm not blaming them. I mean, they went through this. But then you hear these stories now that in like Massachusetts and other places that where they wouldn't allow black Americans to eat, the Greeks would let them in the diners to eat.
Yeah, I saw that story recently.
It's a true story. So the Greeks it's the same thing in World War II with the Jews. When the rest of Europe was pointing them out, the Greeks were hiding them in the Horafia.
Yeah.
Because the Greeks didn't see them as Jews, they saw them as Greeks. And they said, we're going to protect our citizens.
It's people, it's humans.
They're humans. And that's the thing. And I think that's the compassion, I think, at the end of the day. Yeah, we'll fight with each other. They're idiots. But threatened as a whole, the people you don't want to fuck with are Greeks. Threatened as a whole, they're going to take you down, man. Because
once we unite,
they unite,
it's dangerous.
Look at 2004 Euro Cup.
Oh, wow.
Have you seen the movie yet?
King Otto. I haven't seen it yet.
I want to see. I heard it's fantastic.
Yeah, we had it here.
My friend said he was in the theater standing in the middle of the film. And we're all crazy.
Can I tell you, Ange? Bay Street.
I was just
going to
say.
here.
Yeah.
They blocked the street, whole street.
That's what in Toronto.
Yeah, we got to the local council. They put a screen up. We had a projector on there.
No shit.
Above the RSL club.
I saw it on the news then. And I was living in Toronto.
Massive, yeah.
So Danforth Avenue in Toronto was from Broadview all the way to Jones.
Yep.
So that night, here's the deal. At that time, I'm dating this really hot Portuguese girl. And her name's Susie. And she's and she was hot, like, I mean, set the hot. Right?
You didn't get lucky that night, though.
No. What happened? She goes, "Oh, I'm going with my cousins and brothers. We're going to go watch the soccer game. There was the last. You gonna come with me?" I go, "What? I'm going to go where? With the Portuguese?" I go, "No, I got to go with my people." She's, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You have sex with me?" I go, "You have sex with me." I go, "It's fair enough." She goes, "Well, I said, because what happened, we were going to my friend's restaurant in Danforth.
Yeah.
1994, I went to the World Cup in Boston, and we didn't even score a fucking goal, right? It was but it didn't matter. We were so happy to be there.
Well, good to be there.
We were good to be there. So what happened, guys? We sat down in the chairs, right? So you're sitting where you are, he's sitting where and there's 8 of us in my friend's bar. Mm-hmm. Game 1 comes up, Karagunis gets the ball, kicks it, goal. We're stunned. We actually scored a goal. Forget winning a game. And we were like, shit, we scored a goal. Then the second one goes in. We win the game 2-1. We're like, okay, we won a game.
What happens
against
now?
Portugal in Portugal. Game 2 comes out now, Spain. Now, you know the Greeks. Tora, ta fame vilo, tora. España, ranked number 3 in the world.
Real positive stuff.
You know how positive we got? Yeah. We watched the game. Now, from 8 people, now there's about 20.
Yeah.
Okay? We watched the game now. All of a sudden, same seats where we were. There's a core of us, same seats. 1-1 tie, which was like unheard of. Like we, Caristea scored that 1 goal.
Yep.
And then it was like 1-1 tie against Spain. And we're like, fuck.
What's going on here?
What's going on here? Now, the team that should have been easy to beat, which was Russia. But they had that Shevchenko or the other guy, whatever they had.
Yeah.
Russia won the game, but Caristea scored the 1 goal, if you remember.
That's right.
That 1 goal put us... We were tied with Spain.
The 4 and against.
The 4 against. We had 1 more than the other team, and that put us in the next round.
So we slide into the second spot.
Second spot.
Yeah. Portugal first, we'll second.
And then Greece second.
Yeah.
Just. Now it's quarterfinal game, France. Zidane, Henri, Tora.
Forget it.
So that day I'm hosting the Ethnic Journalist Awards in Toronto. I'm hosting it that night. And there's a game. So I went, she was we'll come in, we'll do the sound check and warm up, and then I'm freaking out. I gotta go see the game. They're calling me Puisa Malakaila. Perimeni, the chair's waiting.
Yeah.
Puisa, Susie. You're gonna we're gonna lose. And I'm thinking, oh my shit. Is Greece gonna lose today because I'm not going to the game? So the guy goes, okay, so Angelo, we're gonna hang around. I go, okay, do we get the technical? Go, I'll be back in 2 hours. No, you can't go. I go, I'm going. You can't go. I'm going. It's Greece is playing France. There's a chair for me. I took the subway straight there. I go, I have to go. You understand? The game had just started. The guy goes, well, I said, oh, fuck you. I just left. I didn't care. Like, fire me today. See me now, you can fire me. I don't care. I get there, guys. I get there. They were yelling at me, Malaka, Pitelos, this and that. Yeah. No kidding, guys. I get there. About 7 minutes later, Zagorakis, Karisteas,
boom,
fucking header, the Greeks score. Place goes nuts. Somehow we hang on, and we beat France. Now we're convinced that we have to be in these chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next team now is Czech Republic. They were favored to win. Now we're there at the game and we're watching it. Now the bars, guys, are packed. You can't get a souvlaki or feta. Forget it. The bars are jammed. We're busting now. Is this going to really happen? We're watching remember Nedved and all those guys that were playing? These guys were the best.
I think the best of the best.
Last corner kick, extra minutes.
Extra time.
It was Vasinas, extra time. Vasinas puts it over there. Delas, that tall guy, heads it in, buddy. Dude,
I'm getting goosebumps.
It was like a fucking eruption on Danforth. I'm sure you guys.
Yeah.
It erupted. We went mental. Yeah. Like that night, you thought we won that night. We're out. Toronto cops were out. Greeks were screaming and yelling, now this and that. Now, let's put things in perspective. I haven't had sex for about 10 days now with the hot Portuguese girl because I have to be with my Greek people.
Yeah.
Priority. She was really hot.
Massive sacrifice.
And I was fucking caving in.
But worth it.
But I said, I can't. I can't do it I have to do this for my papu. Yeah. I have to do this for my dad.
And it's superstition at this point.
Superstition.
Yeah.
She kept calling me up. I'm just wearing something. Slowly, why don't you come over? She was trying to sex me to go over with the Portuguese. I wouldn't do it.
And you had your Haristeo shirt on?
And I said, no, I can't. I mean, you know what? I kept beating off thinking of Greece. I go, you're my mistress right now. I was beating off going, you better fucking win, Greece. Because I may never have sex with this woman again. So what happens? What happens? The last game comes now. Now, Danforth Avenue is one part of Toronto, and College Street, where the Portuguese is another. The police have divided it up because it's basically that Figo, Ronaldo.
Yeah, massive.
Again, defense. We know what happened. The game. Yeah. Caristea scores again.
Boom.
When the whistle went.
53rd minute, something like that.
That's it. It was over.
Yep.
And then it was like you guys said, we were on Danforth Avenue, Greektown, Toronto. Had to be the 100,000 Greeks on Danforth. They said we could keep it till midnight.
Yeah,
We
forget
were
it.
there till 6 a.m. Nobody left. The
Yeah.
cops were the big cops like in Canada,
Yeah.
the horses. The guy goes, they never seen anything like it. I said to the one cop, this will never happen again. Do you understand? We were 500 to 1 odds to win. We were the last team that ever they think of win this cup, and we won it. We're gonna enjoy the moment. And the cops were like, they kept trying to open the roads. They wouldn't leave.
Yeah.
And the guy was on the radio going, "Oh, the Greeks are still partying. It's 3 a.m, kicking soccer balls, restaurants open, beers. They were serving booze. They didn't. The city inspectors, Kestus, they didn't matter. The guy goes, we couldn't do nothing. You guys were so in elation.
Yeah.
And that was the year we had the Olympics.
Yep.
And we had
Eurovision.
And Big Fat Greek Wedding. Everything came out at the same time.
My son was born.
Remember
There
how
you
big
go.
it was
Yes.
for being Greeks.
Yeah. We had, the way you just described it was exactly the same. See this couch here? Exactly the same, how you just described
Don't move nothing.
We were here. Same people had to sit. Petros Kalouris was
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Had to sit here.
Isn't that funny,
Same
huh?
spot. Bay
Five
Street,
o'clock
which
in the
is
morning was 5 or 6 in
3
the
or 4
morning.
in
It
the
was
morning.
here.
Bay Street, 400 metres down the road, it was like that. Once they won, Grand Parade, as you can see, is a massive main road. The Greeks ended up blocking that main road.
Awesome.
So we already had the local authorities blocked off Bay Street, which is fine. Had a big screen. It was like maybe 10,000. It was heaps of people. Every Greek known to man was there. We're talking about Brett Anasta, rugby league players.
Yeah.
Everybody.
All there.
Well, what about the Fox Sports commentator? What's his name? Who used to have the moustache? He was dancing in the streets there like crazy.
It was for the Greeks.
Yeah, he's a Greek guy.
He's a Greek guy.
I can't remember what his name is. Sorry, man.
Yeah,
I forgot.
They're all there. And then Grand Parade, every truck, taxi, even police. Look, there was Greek coppers.
Greek cops, there's great.
Yeah, mate, Greek truck drivers, Greek cabbies. They're all beeping, honking. And it started at 3 a.m. or 4 a.m, I think it was. And then it finished by about 6 or 7. Virtually, we had blocked the street. Cars
Andy
had to
Pascalides
detour.
was his name.
Andy,
Sorry.
he's
Andy.
a legend.
Now, let me ask you.
Yeah.
We got to witness that once in our life.
Yeah, we'll never see it again.
We're never.
In our lifetime.
I mean, think about it. Like,
That was bigger than the Olympics.
dude. That was bigger than it. They're calling it the biggest sports upset of the century, and it is. Try to find another comparison. There's been others, but for a team like Greece to be 500 to 1 odds, and I saw that guy. The guy lives in Tottenham, England. That waiter.
Oh yeah.
So I saw the guy comes out. He goes, he had a vision. I gotta find it. He had a vision that God said that Greece was going to win the Euro.
Oh wow.
He took 20,000 pounds
Jesus.
and he bet Greece to win at one of those Ladbrokes. You know, the British have those places.
Yeah.
They went in and they were like, "What?" Because at one point I think the odds were 750 to 1, and they said, "Okay, that's the time. We'll give you 500 to 1."
Jesus.
Now you're talking
Yeah.
Italy, Germany, Holland, England, but Greece.
Yeah.
The guy goes, "O Theos, Moudikse, to kipelo with Zago." He said he envisions Zagoraki holding the cup. The guy's a heretic. I don't know where he's from. He puts 20 grand in his fucking savings.
Yeah.
Gets what, £1 million.
Wow.
When they
Holy
won.
shit.
And when they asked the guy, it was on news, he goes, "God showed me that the Greeks were going to win." Now, is the guy crazy or did he really see it?
Fuck, who knows?
Who would put 20,000 pounds on a 500 to 1 shot? Only fucking Greeks would do
Yeah,
that.
that's it.
Greeks
Mad.
are big. I don't know what they're like in Canada, but here in Sydney or in Melbourne, they're all big punters. Gamble a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's the same way. My dad was like that.
It's huge. And
It's in our blood. I have it too. I got to be careful.
you know how many Greeks loaded up on that tournament?
They won.
and cleaned up.
They cleaned up.
I still can't believe
My
it
cousin
happened.
John was one of
Seriously.
them. All my cousins.
How many years later now?
It's
18 years later.
nearly 20
It's 18
years
years. But I want to see that movie King Otto.
Yeah.
I heard my friend saw it and he said they're doing screenings in the state. I keep missing it. But we lived it. So I want to see the perspective. And he said it took a guy, ironically, it was a German coach.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they couldn't speak the same language. And the coach said he saw one of the most talented teams he'd ever seen, but there was no organization.
Yeah.
It takes a German to come in and organize the Greeks. But,
sort us out.
but look what happened.
Yeah, absolutely.
They gave him honorary Greek citizenship.
Yeah. Give him an island.
I think they gave him an island. They gave him some virgins. I don't know. They gave him everything. I would. Or take my sister, man. We won the Euro Cup. Them and Yassi.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But isn't it funny that for us, I think something like that in Europe, because even the Italians are, look at the Italians, last 2 World Cups, they haven't qualified. They're pissed.
Yeah.
And who do they lose to? I'm working on a cruise ship and I'm watching the game.
North Macedonia.
North Macedonia. So this guy's, this guy's Vincenzo. He's one of the officers on the ship I'm working on, a Royal Caribbean, beautiful ship. We're at the sports bar watching. Italy, all Italy needs is a tie.
A draw.
Or a draw, and they're going to go to the World Cup, right? And North Macedonia, okay. Watching the game, I go, well, I said, don't worry, Italy's going to get in. 93rd minute. It was like watching Greece check. The guy takes a kick, coming outside of the box, coming in, whacks it, goes right through everybody, boom, goes in the net. With 40 seconds left, North Macedonia beats
Italy,
which
powerhouse.
is top 3 teams in the world.
Just won the Euro.
And they just won the Euro. And you saw the guy's face. He goes, I don't believe what did just happen. Tell me this is a dream. I go, it's not a dream, dude. The fucking Massies kicked one in on you. Now the guy goes to me, but it's bullshit. I go, for North Macedonia, that was their Euro Cup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now, did they get in? They didn't get into the...
No. They lost to Portugal.
They lost. But talk about spoiling. Because I think the Italians went in there. And I think that's a good team. I think the Italians went in there maybe a little cocky.
Yeah.
Well, they just won the Euro.
And they won the Euro, but then you lose to North Macedonia?
Yeah. And not make the World Cup. It's massive.
That's fucking...
Best team in Europe, not in the World Cup.
Yeah.
But guess who did make a World Cup? Canada.
Really?
Oh,
For the first time,
Wow.
the Canadians are going to the World Cup.
Wow.
Canada.
Fantastic.
Can you... my friend calls me up. He's really high smoking weed. He goes, bro, gotta tell you something, man. What? He's fucking Canada went to the going to the World Cup. I go, what? How much weed are you smoking? Bro, I'm telling you, go Google it. I go Google. Canada had beaten... So Canada and America, they had beaten all the teams like in the North America division.
Yeah.
Mexico, Honduras, Costa
Wow.
Rica. Canada's number 1. So Canada is going to the World Cup.
Fantastic.
Canada.
Well done.
So now all the Greeks and Italians that aren't in the World Cup, now they're all Canadians.
Yeah.
Now we're going to go for Canada, and that's our team. Well, they should.
Are there any Greeks in the Canadian team?
I believe this is weird. I believe there's 1 Greek,
Yep.
1 Serbian, 1 Croatian, 2 Italians, African, because it's like Australia.
it's like us.
Everybody's from all over,
Yeah.
and all those players are there, and they're coming there. And they're going to the World Cup in Qatar in November.
Yeah, wow, in the heat.
Isn't it funny, though? I mean, we don't normally watch too much football or soccer or however let's call it football, right? We don't watch it that much. But when the World Cup is on, especially if Greece
deal.
or Australia
Sure,
is in
big
it in
deal.
particular, we're in on it, right?
Sure.
Even though we don't watch it that much, one of the harshest things, one of the hardest things to take when Australia made the finals and we got knocked out by Italy. With
I remember
the dive.
I remember that.
Lucas
You
Neal.
guys had a
Yes.
really good team that year.
Yes.
I thought
Harry
the Australians were going to
Kuehl.
go all the way,
Gus
actually.
Hiddink. Yeah,
Yes.
Gus Hiddink coach team.
That's right, and Lucas Neal and
2006,
Toddy.
I think it was.
So Toddy took a dive, and they had a penalty.
Lucas Neal penalty, and they got
You
it.
guys got burned.
and
I
it
think we're in
still
the
hurts.
quarters. Would have been in the semis if we won that.
Yeah, it still hurts. But anyway,
John Aloisio scoring that the penalty kick at Sydney Football Stadium.
Australia.
Against Uruguay.
yes, Stadium
that
Australia
was
it was.
massive. That
Really,
was
huh?
nearly as big
That
as
was
the
that was
Greeks
us making the World Cup for the first
first
time.
time.
It had never happened before.
did. Yeah. It did actually.
Uruguay
I
played
once
here?
in the
before,
70s,
74,
72,
that's right.
74, something
I
like
mean, maybe Canada's been there once before. I can't remember.
Yeah,
But
unbelievable.
so Uruguay was here in Australia playing you guys,
That's right.
and you guys scored with the 1 goal. It's a
I
big
think
deal.
it was 1-0 there. Uruguay won 1-0 in Montevideo, and we had to win 1-0 here. Oh no, actually we scored a goal. It was 1-0 here, So therefore, it was a tie. And it got to extra time and then penalty shootout.
Yeah.
And Mark Schwarzer saved a couple of goals.
Yep.
And John Aloisio lined up, put it in, and that was it.
Luisi, Johnny, Luisi.
Luisi,
That's it.
I don't even know the guy and I like him already.
Yeah.
You know, don't you find that's what we need now after all this COVID bullshit? We need something that lifts people's spirits up.
Absolutely.
I think I'm starting to realize why. Now that I'm coming back with the comedy guys, the shows are sold out.
Yeah.
People are. I mean, here in Australia, man, we're trying to add a third show in Melbourne.
Yeah, well.
And Sydney's pretty much sold out. But I'm not saying it like look. I'm saying like I realize that people want to escape from their bullshit. 2 years of being cooped up, I think, everywhere, not here, everywhere. Canada, everywhere you went. And I'm noticing it now that more and more people are like, they just want to, you know, I think they took for granted that you could go out. And now they're like, oh no, if we get a chance to go out. Yeah. And I bet you Greece is going to be, I went last year and Greece was jammed. It's going to be jammed this year.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I went, like, I had to go do a show in Santorini, and everybody's like, oh, you got to go to Greece. I go, I'm going to go. I'm vaccinated. And I went high season. Los
one
Angeles.
of the first countries to come out of
Yeah, they open up. Greeks were like, oh, we're going to open it up.
Yeah. And
but
Europe.
people were still worried. And the airfare from Los Angeles to Athens return, peak season, was $691, which is normally $1,700.
It's like a domestic flight in.
So I'm like, I stayed in Paros, still the best. I got this 1-bedroom apartment with the family, 100 feet from the beach, 5 nights.
Beautiful.
$500. 5 nights for 500. I thought it was 500 a night. And you go anywhere, and he goes, you're Greek, so I go to the thing. So funny, man. I got the Greek language discount. So he goes, so I rented a car there, no problem. But it was interesting to me. What was interesting was that the Greeks they want the business, and I noticed they're willing to open up Antiparos with the Santorini.
Yeah.
But everybody was calling me and going, "Hey, how is it there, man?" I go, "It's okay. You know, are you worried about COVID? It's too late now. We're here. We had to wear masks on the flight."
Yeah.
And I noticed it even here. Like I flew on American coming over to Sydney.
Yeah.
And it's optional if you put your mask on.
Okay.
So I had it on, I took it off, and then I'm going back with Qantas next week out of Melbourne. But everybody's asking me, like, you know, they're living vicariously. So was it okay to? I said, well, I'm wearing it. You know, and in Greece. But we went to the taverna.
Were you wearing it just below your nose so you could
just
still breathe?
No, he goes, they do this to you on the airline.
Oh, do they? Okay.
So we go to this taverna in Paros, and I go to the guy. He sees me, my wife, and daughter, and he goes, "You want to eat? Nafate?" Yeah, and this is what he says. He goes, there, they have COVID. Εδώ, no COVID. Okay, αυτοί είναι όλοι κοβατζίδες. Εμείς δεν έχουμε COVID. I go, bravo, we're going to go there. And my wife goes, why are we eating here? Because Mr. Stelio said that there's no COVID here. But how does he know? He doesn't. But he's confident enough.
It's good at
It's a selling
marketing.
point.
See how Greeks are? They go, αυτοί όλοι έχουν COVID, εδώ δεν έχουμε COVID.
Take advantage.
Somehow across the street, COVID didn't run across the street.
Εδώ δεν έχει COVID.
Εδώ δεν έχει COVID.
Από εκεί έχει.
Από εκεί έχουν COVID, εδώ δεν έχουν
Όλοι οι
COVID.
υπόλοιποι έχουν.
Όλοι αυτοί οι άχρηστοι.
Okay, look. Evangelos Petros Tsarouchas, son of Peter and Debbie.
Yes.
Is that legit?
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
How much crap did you cop?
A lot. Well, I mean, we can think about it. Our parents anglicized their names.
Yeah.
But for some reason, they felt important that they kept our names. Like, oh, stupid, Miltiadi, Grammatiki, all these weird, Evangelos, Michali, Anastasia, and then they're Peter and Debbie.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you people? Make us all have those kind of names.
Why do you think they did that? Like, why did Greek parents do that shit to their kids?
I think, you know what their biggest fear was when they left the old country? Their biggest fear is that we would not be Greek.
Yeah, sure.
That was their biggest fear. So, I mean, if you think about it, they wanted to make sure. Like, to them, it was a sacrifice for them so they could anglicize their names.
Yeah.
Because they were from there. But the offspring, no, it can be Evangelos. And I mean, they make Evangelos Petros Tsarouchas. Because you do his name after to Papu and all that shit, your
of course.
dad. And then when I did that joke, it was funny to me because I thought, how come we have all the weird names and they got the Anglo names? But they wanted to preserve that culture because they're scared.
That's true. Well, my dad changed his name. His dad's name legally here, when after he was born, was Theophylaktos. So he'd go to school here, and it's
Protector of God.
Yeah, lovely name.
That's a cool name, Theophylaktos.
But he changed it. He went.
See, I would have liked it if he did called himself Protector of God. What's your name? Protector of God.
Yeah.
You want a piece? Nobody would fuck with that.
That's badass.
I know a guy in Montreal.
Bodyguard.
His name was fucking Xenophon Kokoromitis. So, strange noise, rooster nose. So I mean, and then people go, "You make this shit up." I do not make it. Xenophon Kokoromitis. Strange noise, rooster nose.
Yeah.
And he get mad at me. He go to them. He's like, "No, I'm just saying that's what your name means." Yeah. Strange noise. This other guy, I had a guy come in once when I Kyrios Metos.
Vomit.
Mr. Vomit. So somebody was puking up back in your background. But there's a lot of those, Gliko Vrisi.
Yeah.
You know, there's a ton. A lot of the names are named after nicknames and stuff.
Yeah.
And I think, see, this is the fine line as a comic. So I look at stuff like that. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to say this. I'm going to do this on my show, but I just wrote it today because it happened.
Exclusive.
And this is exclusive on Ouzo Talk. So what happened? I have my phone, right? Yeah. My friend said, "What did you eat the other day?" And this actually happened. And so I go, well, I said, I started off with an avgolemono, and then I got like some spanakopita, and then I got galactaburico. So you know, on iPhone, you press it and you say it and you verbalize it and it spells it for you.
Yeah.
This is what came out. So I said, I get avgolemono. I'm homo, spanakopita, spank your pita, and then galactaburico, galactic booty call.
Wow.
That's what came out on the phone. I didn't write it.
Classic.
So when I said,
Go serious.
avgolemono, spanakopita, and galactaburico, I'm homo. One homo. Spank your pita and galactic booty call.
Wow.
So that shit writes itself, right? And that's and because of why? Because I'm trying to say again Greek names.
Yeah.
If you go to GPS in Greece, F could be PH, or it's all screwed up. So we were on the GPS. Pia odos itelis, philoxenia, F. PH. The Greeks have 8 ways to spell "f" in Greece, so it's like whatever, man.
Classic. Classic.
When did you realize that you were funny? Like growing up, were you the class clown? That seems to be the
part
thing.
of it. You know what it was? I worked at my dad's restaurant, so customers would come in. I thought a lot of them were morons, so I used to joke around with them a bit, you know. And then at a young age, I used to listen to comedy albums. I'm talking 8, 9 years old.
Okay.
It was unusual for a kid. So I would listen to, Jackie Mason. I would listen to Rodney Dangerfield. I would listen to Red Fox. I would listen to Red Buttons. I would listen to Bill Cosby. George Carlin. Pryor.
George Carlin, wow.
Hattie Clinton was a big influence on me. Because I thought Hattie Clinton was fucking hilarious, man. All those UFO and the noises he made. I will say that, I put him in the greats of those comedians.
Yeah, wow.
Because he was really that good. Wow. And I thought, wow, he's not only is he a comic, but he's Greek.
Yeah.
And he did all those characters and stuff that were, I thought it was just brilliant. And I would listen, and my mom would go, Ade Kimisu. And I had the little, the record player on, I put on low, and I'd listen. I'd go to sleep listening to
it's contraband.
Stand-up. It was contraband. I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved all that stuff. And then we had cassettes. They came out, and then after that, and then it's weird. And then I started doing it in high school for a variety show.
Okay.
I did it, and then then I got hooked. And the Greek chose by accident. It was 22 years ago. It was 2000. My friends, I was telling you, are in a band called Poseidon. You said you're in the band. Yeah. So they go to Calgary to do the Greek festival. So we're in a hall, about 500-600 Greeks. I just broke up with my wife. I was just gonna try to get away. I go to Calgary.
Join the club.
Join the club. We get there, and Tony, the bouzouki player, they blew a fuse. So they got to send somebody out to get a fuse. Now the mics are working. Yep. So they were like, Ange, why don't you do something?
Any good jokes?
I'm like, well, I always did a couple of Greek jokes about my name, but I never thought of, but I thought it's a whole audience of Greek Canadians.
Yeah.
All right, so I go up, and off the top of my head, I start talking about the family and the Theas and the this and the that. 25, 30 minutes goes, standing O. I'm not kidding you. They went berserk. Wow. And I thought, okay, I'm onto something here. But then I realized they all grew up the same way I did.
Yeah.
You guys grew up the same way I did. Yeah. It doesn't matter. We all grew up the same way. So whatever I was saying to them, they didn't need to think about it. They've experienced it.
Could relate to it.
And then shortly after, I did an album. That's the CD that people first heard in Australia called "It's All Greek to Me." It was a CD, and that actually made top downloads in Australia, unbeknownst to me.
Wow!
So the people were getting it on the download when they could start downloading it, and that was the CD. And that was I taped that one in Montreal with my mom and my dad and all that stuff. And that's the one that the shot heard around the world, and they heard it everywhere. And then I don't know. And then I always like to look at the absurdities of life. Doesn't matter because I do, whether it's mainstream or Greek, and like I just told you now with the names, or
So this wasn't prepped. Yeah, no material, just ad-libbing.
I ad-libbed it. I just went up there and said, "What is it about Pascal? Why do we do this?" And it was ad-libbed because I thought
it's like you're talking to yourself.
I was like, is it just me or am I a fucking? And I kid you not, my Cubano looks at me and goes, "You got something here."
Yeah.
This is something. And then the other guy got mad. The guy, Christo, the singer.
Yeah.
Tito never listened to Malaka Pano. He goes,
stole the show.
Mr. Bono of fucking Greece. I go, Kanakadits Prokopis. I love Chris. I'm kidding. But he goes, Tito never listened to Malaka. He got mad because, I went up and told jokes for 30 minutes, got a standing O. And then when they got on, everybody's like, Ferena Souvlaki.
Bring Angelo back on.
Bring him on. And the Greeks were doing this to me. The Phoenix on that.
Yeah.
They loved it.
They loved it.
Wow.
And the band's like, okay, you can fuck off now. We don't want you to stay around anymore. Yeah. No, they're kidding. They're my friends. I love those guys. They're great.
It is about the absurdities, isn't it?
It is.
The thing that I loved, I piss myself laughing every time I hear that bit about the weddings. The Thea at the wedding. Πότε θα φάμε, πονάνε τα πόδια μου, θα φάμε τίποτα.
Θα λιποθυμίσω.
It's the fucking
θα φάμε τίποτα. That's my Thea. Yeah. And we're standing at, you stand in front of the banquet hall, they open the doors.
Yeah.
Because Anastasia and Adoni haven't showed up yet. Because they went to the fucking Seychelles to take their pictures. And then you're sitting there and then you see them. And Greeks, give them a thing to complain about, they're going to complain. Yeah. And there's my Thea with... Αχ, δεν μπορώ, θα λιποθυμίσω, δεν μπορώ. Πονάνε τα πόδια, πριστήκαν τα πόδια μου, δεν μπορώ. Θα φάμε. And they're just like fucking, I go, πού πήγανε, ξέρεις πού πήγανε, δεν ξέρω. Γιατί δεν ξέρεις πού, θα λιποθυμίσω, δεν μπορώ. And I think when I'm doing that character, I'm sounding like her. I think everybody knows who she is.
Yes.
Everyone has an auntie
like
that.
That sounds like that. And I think that's why... When I do my mom or stuff, the impressions of her, like the way my mom does it, putanies de pernanas pati putana. Yeah. So my mom, I'm trying to get her to come down to LA, and she's like, she wants me to feel bad, right?
Yeah.
I go, ma. And then what I do is I get my daughter on the phone. I go,
that's good.
Go talk to Okay, make her cry.
Yeah.
Okay, she goes, hi, thank you for the kuluria. I love you, Yaya. When are you going to come and visit me and play with me and show me how to make kuluria? My mom, crying on the phone. And I'm sitting there with a big smile on my face.
Keep going.
Oh, yeah. And then she says to my daughter, put your father back on the phone. And that's why I went back on the phone. My mom, putanies de pernane pati putana. She knew exactly what I did. And I said, hey, Now you know what it feels like. And you know where I learned that from, Mom? You.
Yeah,
The guilt.
She goes to me, and I put Livy on the phone, and my daughter just works at Ella. Yeah, come and show me how to make kuluria. You know, for a Greek grandmother, that's kryptonite, right? She's like, oh, nappy dimu. And I go, yeah, and then I got then I got my sister, the Secretary of State, the spokesperson. She gets on the phone. You're a fucking asshole. Mom's feeling bad. Oh well.
Yeah.
And she goes, whatever, man. Everything. So I said, hey, it wasn't me. It was your niece.
Yeah.
She wants Yaya Shore to make kuluria.
Yeah.
I didn't say shit to her. She did it on her own.
Yeah.
And then it's like everybody. And then all the gossip starts.
Yeah.
We start talking about the other family. Or, you know, our other cousin, I think she's a dyke. You know that, right? Oh, I knew that. Well, you knew that. Why wouldn't you tell me? I go, well, it's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And so, and your brother's an asshole. And then you call the other ones.
Yeah.
And they start telling you they're kotsobolya.
Yeah.
You know, your sister's a stupid. Everybody has got something to say.
Yeah.
So if you want to find out what's going on, just one by one, call the family members. They'll rat each other out. Every one of them is going to say something about somebody else.
Everyone's got skeletons in the closet.
So it does. It just writes itself.
It writes itself.
Yeah.
My job is to kind of separate it and facilitate it. You know, facilitate the whole thing.
Categorize it all.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, you see, right now we're chuckling because we've all had to do that. And I told my mom, I said, don't get mad at me. I said, she wants Yaya to show her to make kuluria.
Yeah.
But I guess Yaya's in Montreal, right? Because you got the dog and your fucking doctor. I go, don't worry about it. You know, ask the she goes, that's not you're not being fair. No, I'm not.
And this is the same woman who's guilting you
Yeah.
at the airport.
The airport. I'm the face and artista prepatiso. I'm coming.
I'm in traffic.
But you see, even those words, it's our moms. We love our moms.
Yeah.
We do. Really, dads, if you had to pick one parent to be a dick, it's dad.
Yeah.
But moms are always, that's why we love and respect our moms so much.
Very psychological.
I make fun of with my mom, but I always have a high respect because we were raised like that. You know, it's funny. I did a show with another Greek comic, and it was I think it was in New York, and he went up. And I put him on the show to open for me in front of an all Greek audience, called his mom a bitch. Ooh. And the audience shut down. So I pulled him aside. His name's Dino. I said, Dino, come here, I got to talk to you. He goes, what? I said, look. Well, I go, you called your mom a bitch. Well, she is rule number one, Greek audience. Mom is a fucking saint. You don't call mom a bitch ever. Even you don't do that. You don't with a. Did you know? See what happened? He goes, yeah, they shut down. Yeah, that's not Greek audience. You can say, yeah, my dad's a bit of a dick. Okay, we'll accept it. Yeah. Mom,
no way.
You see how everybody shut down? He goes, yeah. What was that about? I go, you called your mom a bitch. Even if she is, you don't say it. Because for us, it's a no-no. And it's funny culturally because people say to me, as a comic, can you say anything? You can, but there's consequences. And that's one of them. And I said to them, I'll say our mothers are complicated, but I never put them down because they've done so much for us. Definitely. So I think most people come from that point of view of, well, my mom with guilt, that because they do that, right? Meryl Streep, that's okay. Because my mom laughs at that. But as soon as you call your mom a bitch,
It's done.
you've lost the audience. He lost the audience.
You've crossed the line.
They crossed the line, and they did not want to listen to him. And I go, I hope you learned something today. He goes, yeah, I realized that. I said, no, you see, that's where you were wrong.
Even we just said it now, it is whoa.
But we're using it in context of a conversation.
Yeah, and I know what you mean.
Right, you know what I'm saying?
But even just you saying it in the context.
Yeah, in the context.
Shit. It doesn't go together.
And I even told him, I said, dude, you don't do that stuff. So comedy's comedy. We touch everything, bases, this and that. Some things, though, mom, no.
There are some sacred.
Yeah, there you can't. I make fun of my grandmother, too, because my grandmother was funny. Yeah. But, things that we identify with.
Yeah.
Not character assassinations. And I would never do it. And I think he learned something, and he goes, I thank you for doing that because I think I learned something today. Because I'm for freedom of speech, but there's consequences. And it doesn't matter what you do. every culture is going to draw a line for you.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You can say it.
Yeah.
But you put up
Great
the
point.
consequences.
Yeah, good
How
point.
tough is it to be a comedian in such a politically correct world?
It's tough. Sure it is. Look, I use something in the context of a dialogue, and we were self-conscious of it, right? Because you can always tell if somebody is mean-spirited about something. So there's words you can't use. I always say this. I go, Greeks aren't racist. We're Greek. Meaning the way you speak the Greek language, my friend, it sounds like, o psilos, o kodos, o chodros, o kinesos, o mavros. It's in reference how we speak as Greeks. So my one friend says, well, you sound racist when you say that. I go, hold on. I said, in Greek, that's what it is. So when you see the guy, o mavros. Mavro in Greek is black.
Yeah.
Kinezo in Greek is Chinese. Psilos, kodos, kodros, whatever.
Yeah.
I said, it's a direct dialect of how we speak this language.
Yeah.
Now, you're translating it. It sounds like you can do that with any language and make it sound like it's going to be racist. So I always say, and the Greek audience understands this. I say, we're not racist, we're Greek. It's just, and I said, look, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm apologizing for mathematics. I'm going to apologize for the alphabet. I'm going to apologize for the Olympics. I'm going to apologize. If it wasn't for us, you guys would be wiping your golo with rocks. And the funny thing is, I love that line in Big Fat Greek Wedding when he goes,
I know.
When he goes, Chishro Sanesti, and he goes, Otenemis grafa me filosofias, esis cremosas tenemos vedra. That is so freaking true.
It's very Greek, isn't it?
It's so Greek because now, I think sometimes do we go over the line? But it's just that's the way we are, though. I don't think, and even now as Greeks, I think you can see the difference now because now I've noticed now there's been a lot of alternative lifestyle being incorporated in entertainment. So now you have a lot of people in the LGBTQ community now coming out and doing this stuff. Accept it. And like when people say, do you have a problem with it? I live in Hollywood. I'm an actor. I'm a comic. I've been around my whole life. That doesn't bother me. And we talked about it earlier with where my dad and mom are from. So it's close to the topic and to the matter. So when people say to you, well, what is it? I go, well, you got to look at the origin of what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So you're if I'm saying it for effect, then okay, maybe it's mean-spirited. But no, I'm like the guy comes up to me and he goes, I'm LGBTQ, okay?
Nice.
And I'm Greek.
Yeah.
It's like those guys. What do you call those guys? The Kolobarades. Or the other guys there. If you're in Hollywood Boulevard, you get the Scientologists.
Yeah, right.
And the guy goes to me. I'm walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and the guy goes, "You want me to read your palm?" I go, "You want me to read your coffee?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "What? What are you talking about?" I go, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "Well, we read palms." I go, "That's amateur hour.
Yeah.
Like, we're Greeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do mati, we got coffee cups, we got all kinds of shit." And the guy's looking at me, "Are you making this up?" I go, "Do I sound like I'm making it up?" And it's so funny. My friend laughed. She's an actress. She was with me. And she's like, "I can't believe what you were saying, but you were truthfully saying what you were saying." I go, because a lot of people don't root their culture. A lot of people don't know where their families are from. A lot of people, I'll send you guys, I did a documentary called Back to Sparta, where I go back to Greece, and now they're gonna show it at the Montreal Greek Film Festival, but it's about going back to Greece to do a show.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the thing I did.
Yeah.
And I went to my dad's village, and it makes you laugh, it makes you cry, all that stuff.
Definitely want to see that.
I'll send you the links, look at them. The truth of the matter is that when it comes down to the end of it, when you're talking about all that kind of stuff, I said, you can tell, I think, by the tone of somebody's body language or how they talk to you, whether they're fearing it or something.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think we fear anything.
Yeah.
I'm okay. The guy goes to me, I'm a man, but identify as a woman.
Yep.
I go, I'm fat, but I identify as skinny. Does that make me trans slender? Or like what? I don't know. What?
Classic.
So what is it? You know, like, I mean, think about it. Like, I'm quick to tell you, I do this. Okay. And I do this. I mean, I didn't, the thing is, did I categorize you? No. Did I even ask you a question? No, it's not my business.
Yeah.
And you know, you work on it sometimes and the guys will come up and it's like, wow. He goes, yeah, because some people get scared. And I say, that's why I'm very careful, even in the act. It's a great question. It's a good question because it can go on. Every comic's going to tell you something different.
Yeah.
And
The
for
context
me,
is so important, as you said. That situation that Rogan had recently, where somebody went and cut all this audio together.
yeah, with the
saying
N-word.
Yeah.
As if they're not
Yeah,
going
but what's
after
your
him.
view on that? What's your view on Joe Rogan? Tell us about Joe Rogan.
Look, Joe Rogan's the Messiah now.
He is.
Yeah, Joe Rogan, he's a very smart guy. I met him a couple of times. I'm not going to sit here and pretend we're best friends. We're not. I met him.
Yeah.
You know, he's a successful stand-up comic. He had television, Fear Factor. Then he got involved in this thing called UFC.
Yes.
And he starts doing all that stuff. And all along was doing this, a podcast. And everybody thought, fuck, what the fuck's Joe doing? He started this like 13 years ago.
Yeah. I remember it.
And, he kept doing it at the Ice House in Pasadena.
Yeah.
And then he would do all these places. Now look, Spotify picks him up for $100 million. He moves to Austin, Texas. And now everybody's gone to Texas.
Yeah.
I was there too. So I think some people, look, anybody gets to a certain level, they're going to try to knock you down. Look at Elon Musk bought Twitter.
Yeah.
Now he's the Antichrist because they don't agree with it. I think anytime I do stuff that people don't like, I'm sure you could even have listeners. That's okay. I say you're allowed to not like my stuff.
Yep.
I don't need everybody to like what I say or what we're saying.
Yeah.
That's okay. If most of the people like it, we're good because I think some people want ultimate acceptance from everybody. You're never going to get it.
Yeah.
Look, in Greece, I got some people from Greece. I put that clip up about my name Tsarouchas, funny Greek shoes.
Yep.
How dare you make fun of the Greek culture? How dare you insult the heritage of it? Hey, it's my fucking name. Where did I insult? I had to live with the name Tsaroucha, funny Greek shoes with pom-poms. You don't know the origin of your name, so you're going to tell me I don't know what my name means and what I'm talking about. The reason I'm making fun of it, it brings people to light to understand that I'm proud of my name.
Yeah.
Sure.
I never said I hated it. I say, this is what it means. Because everybody asks you. They ask you, what's your name mean? Well, it's a shoe with a pom-pom. No, seriously.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Classic. Yeah.
So I think people get offended by being offended.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, and I've said this before. I go, I respect everybody. I wouldn't, if it's low-hanging fruit, I don't go there.
Yeah.
Some jokes are too easy.
Yep.
Yeah.
To make fun of people with disabilities and this and that, whatever.
Yeah.
No, it depends on who you are. If you're a sadistic person, then you'll do it. Other people were more observational. Yeah. Greeks are more observational. We love parea. We love kotsobolio. We love what we're doing right now. We love to talk Greeks love to talk and hang out.
Yeah, exactly.
And have
what we're doing.
rosé.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
That's what we do. We love that. We die for that stuff.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Look, speaking of controversy, can we talk about the Sfaliata, the Will Smith, Chris Rock? What's your view on that?
Okay, I actually came out and did a video
Yeah.
on my page.
Because everyone's got an opinion on this.
Okay, here's my opinion. Number one, Chris Rock is a comic.
Yep.
And he did a joke. Very, very low. Hey, Jada, looking forward to seeing you in G.I. Jane 2.
Yep.
He gave her kind of a compliment because
Do you think
Demi
he knew?
Moore, I don't think he knew she had alopecia.
Okay.
There's no way. I was watching the show.
Or do you think it's a setup?
Now, why would it be a setup? Think about it. It's the Oscars.
More
He just got
Oscars
banned
on the download.
They're on it. I mean, you got the number one comic in the world with the number one actor at the number one award show. Why would you fuck it up? And I've heard this, that people think it's a setup.
Okay.
It would be a setup if one of them wasn't famous. Then now Angelo Tsarouchas whacked Will Smith in the head.
They're already famous.
Now, they're famous, so they don't need attention.
Yeah. Okay.
know,
So
and
what's your view? So it was real. definitely.
My real view is, I think Will Smith is a malaka because, and I'll tell you why, because when he did the joke, he said, just fooling Jada. Then he decides, his wife came out, basically said, I'm in an entanglement, so I'm banging my son's friends. But they in Hollywood they call it an entanglement.
Okay. Well,
You know,
she
when you're depressed in Hollywood,
Yeah.
okay, it's called chronic fatigue syndrome. When you're depressed and you're poor, it's called depression. So we had an entanglement. You basically cuckolded your husband to the world, you know, because you weren't happy. Okay, then he gets to the Oscars. They put all their garbage out for the world to see.
Yeah.
So everybody knows this. She shaved her head. Now, if you don't want the attention on the biggest night of your husband's career, put a wig on, Jada. You're in Hollywood. But no, I'm going to shave my head. And I'm not saying alopecia isn't something serious. It is. And it's very sensitive to a lot of people. But you're sitting on the thrones of the Oscars, right in the front row, the king and queen. One comedian, the court jester, made a joke, and you gave him the look like.
And he didn't know. You reckon he didn't know?
I could tell you he didn't know.
He didn't know.
And even if he did know, was it that bad a joke, dude?
No.
It wasn't.
But it's
And now
not.
some people will disagree with me.
Yeah.
He stood up for his wife. Okay, I'm all about standing up for your wife. Not in front of hundreds of millions of people.
Yeah.
And you know this guy. He didn't call her putana or not. He could have done a lot worse to her.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
of course.
Because he said, when Will Smith, you want me to tell you the truth? And this is only comics mind.
Yeah.
When Will Smith came out and said, keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth. And then I said, I would have turned around and said, I will until August. Because August was the guy she was banging, right? A comic, Chris Rock had, I guarantee you, 10,
Heaps of
12
material.
comebacks.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't go there.
Yeah.
Every comedian saw it. And I knew it.
Yeah.
He could have said so many things to her.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
Massive
Because
restraint.
he did.
Okay.
So people say to me, what was it? I go, Will Smith. I go, Remalaka.
Yeah.
Out of all the times you're going to decide to stand up for somebody,
Yep.
you pick this moment where
Yeah.
you know you're going to get the Oscar.
Yeah.
Why? And
Because comedians have been a lot worse in Oscars.
Oh,
Ricky Gervais tore them apart at the
I know.
Golden Globes.
and it was
Tore them
outstanding.
apart.
Who
it was
was it?
brilliant.
Tom Hanks? Yeah.
Tom Hanks with his mutra, whatever.
Yeah.
Tom, go with your $500 million. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
See, we're comics.
Yeah.
You can't take what we're saying. I like what did Ricky Gervais say? Come up here, take
your
your
award.
award, get your awards, thank whatever God it is you pray to, and fuck off.
Yeah.
Because he said, we don't want to hear your bullshit.
Yeah.
And I became a huge Ricky Gervais fan
yeah.
after those Golden Globes because he gave it to them.
Yeah.
And all these people, and he goes, isn't it great? He goes, a whole bunch of people in Hollywood.
But it's
and
funny
your
to say that.
limos.
Some people think that. No one would
Yeah.
say it, but he said
He
it.
said it.
Yeah.
But that's a comic. So with Will Smith, you know, when that whole thing went off with Jada Pinkett, I'm thinking to myself, well, you assaulted a comic. This is where I jump in.
Yeah.
I support Will Smith. I support
Chris Rock. Yeah.
Because now, if they let this go, guys, I'm going to be on stage. Some guy decides I offended him.
Open slather.
I love feta cheese. I hate feta cheese. Bomb! It hits me in the head.
That was going to be my next question. What precedent does that set?
that's
Are we
what-
ever going to see another comedian host the Oscars because of this?
Because I know I'm friends with Wanda Sykes. I know Wanda.
really?
Yeah, I see
I
her.
love Wanda.
She's great. Her and her wife come a lot to Great Greek on Ventura Boulevard. And I was on Last Comic. Very nice lady. She's really funny.
I love you, Wanda.
And Wanda's great. And it's funny because they were hosting it with Amy Schumer and the girls did a great job. They did a great job. Because Jada, her career's in the toilet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden she's like, and I'm going to ruin the night. And let's face it, she got what she wanted. She wanted to ruin the night, and she did. And Will Smith, if Will stood up and said, hey, Chris, easy on my wife. She's got a condition. And he yelled it out. It would be weird, but okay, whatever. But night.
He would have.
If I get up on stage now, if I get up from this podcast, come over and slap you right now with the cameras on, is that right? No, it's
at all.
not.
No.
It's the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's the Oscars. Anywhere you go, I wouldn't do that to some. There's a space. There's a trust that we have as a comic. I'm telling jokes. Like we said earlier, you don't like what I'm doing, fine. You don't have to like
But
it.
there's even a thing with comedians. If you go to a comic show, if you're going to sit in the front row, you know you're going to get
They're
heckled.
going to probably talk to you.
I went to the comedy store probably about 2 weeks ago. There was no one sitting in the front row.
Yeah. Did you
They
go there?
knew. Yeah,
Yeah,
I did.
that's all right.
Yeah, but that's fine. We went. We sat second row. We virtually might have been in the front row, but they were fine. They heckled a few people, but you got to expect it.
Yeah.
And no matter what they say, you just got to take it. It's part of the show, and you just got to laugh with it.
It's so true because think about it. Look, the shows I do with Greek audience is different. 'Cause I'm talking with the audience. I don't really single out anybody, because it's not that kind of show. It's not. And I find it can go wrong for many reasons. You don't want to.
Like Russell Peter does it.
Oh, Russell does it because Russell's
but it's
Russell.
funny.
Russell's a master at it.
Yeah.
Brown guy, blue guy, but Russell's a master at doing it. But think about it. Would Russell be able to, Russell or Don Rickles, would he be able to come and do that routine starting out today? Probably not.
Yeah.
Russell's been doing it for 30 years. Yeah. He's a master at what he does.
So will comedy change now, do you think, because of this incident for
It's
you?
changed.
It has changed.
It has changed. So I see now, because we've become so fucking sensitive, that people are offended by the littlest of things. So, I'm even careful if I say something, especially around women or anybody. I say I didn't mean it. Like I was at backstage last night, and I came off the stage, and I go, "How was that? How was that, honey?" And I said, "Didn't mean to call you honey." She goes, "It's okay." I go, "I'm still excited. I'm a bit old school. I should have said, how was that? Opposite person, sex, something. It's so weird.
So
Honey's
you got to do
better.
like a disclaimer now before you put it on the
Almost.
show.
I mean, almost.
Put a little asterisk.
What if what happened at the Oscars, say, happened at the Improv on a Saturday night? You reckon it would have gotten as much?
It could have turned into a fight.
Yeah.
Depends who it is. See, Chris Rock was smart, guys, because he knew hundreds of millions of people were watching the Oscars. By him not retaliating showed restraint.
Oh, saint-like.
I mean, and Will Smith, he was taller than him, whatever. You imagine if that was a Greek festival, Panigiri, and you go and slap the guy behind
It'll be on.
the Fasto Bastuni in the side of the head in seconds.
Yeah.
It's going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Αυτός με χτύπησε στα μούτρα. Ποιος είναι αυτός ο
Forget it.
μαλάκας?
That's it.
I agree with the Greeks. It's on, man. You hit one of them, that's it. You're fucking done.
So what do you think's happened now? Do you think Chris Rock is
He's
seeing
going
in a
to
good
sue.
light?
He's going to sue.
You reckon?
Well, Jim Carrey said that he should.
He's going to sue, guys.
Yeah.
He's got advisors.
Yeah.
He's gone to the number one law firm in America, New York. Watch, I bet you,
You know
in a
this
month
for a
or
fact.
two. Yes.
And who's he
I
gonna
know for a
sue?
fact.
Oscars or
No, he's going to sue both of them.
Wow.
And what's going to happen? The magic number, I'm going to tell you now, is $200 million.
That's what Jim said.
They're
Jim
going to
Carrey.
settle. They're going to go for $200 million.
Yeah.
And this is what's going to happen. Chris is going to get $150 million. The high-end Jewish lawyers in New York get 25, and the high-end Jewish lawyers in LA get 25.
Okay.
Because it's going to be Steinberg, Lehman, and whatever. These are the guys. They are clever, smart people.
Yeah.
They're going to put the fucking deal together.
Wow.
You heard
And
it
good
here
for them.
first.
And I'm telling you, it's going to be the number is going to be $200 million.
Yeah.
Will's worth about $450. They're going to liquidate him because what he did was wrong.
Yeah.
It was assault, and they let it go. Now,
And he hasn't been charged, has he?
no, I see. It's Black Lives Matter, this, that, everything else. Everybody's scared to make a move. It doesn't matter, guys. A man assaulted another man on live TV. Does not matter of their color or their religion. A guy assaulted another guy. It was an assault. If you let it go, you're setting an example to everybody that you can go hit somebody and it's okay.
Especially if they're on stage.
On stage.
Yeah.
So, no, you can't play any type of race card or anything here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they can't. A man assaulted another man, and even, the LAPD was backstage. They can put the charges themselves.
Yeah, they were ready to go.
And they were ready to go, and they
But
said,
no
do you
one
want us to
came
do
in,
it?
did they?
he didn't want to do it because it's going to set back everything they fought for the last 20 years. So,
But now that dust has settled.
and if somebody does that to you in the Oscars, you're shocked.
You don't know how
No
to
matter
react.
what. So if you come up and hit me, I'm like, did you just hit me? Like
Is
at
this
the
a
Oscars?
joke? What's going on? He's acting.
Because remember when he was walking up, Chris Rock was laughing. Ah, here he comes. He thought maybe he should put his arm around them. Come on, man. Goff shot in the head right
It's
there.
Fallada. Yeah.
One sfaliata
This Faliata that changed the world.
that changed the world.
That changed comedy.
I've been in a club once where the guy in Canada. So I was hosting the show, and this guy in the front row is regular looking guy with a really smoking hot woman. So the comic before me goes on and he says to the guy, he goes, after the show, I can go upstairs, jerk off thinking about your wife, and there's nothing you can do about it. And he goes, as a matter of fact, I'm going to do that right after I leave the stage. So these are only words. The guy takes a drink and chucks the drink. He chucks a drink. The guy spits on him. He spits back. Scrum.
Wow.
Like rugby, the scrum,
yeah.
right at the stage.
Yeah.
So we jump on the stage, and of course the girl's sitting there like, he's going to jerk off to me. And then I had to go, so I go, we broke it up. They threw him out. I went back on stage, and I go, how many other women are upset that they didn't pick you as a topic? This or that. I had to make a joke about it. But words. It was just words.
Yeah.
But it was enough. His ego was fragile enough where she's like, whatever, and then he's like, you said that, you threw the drink. But then the assault, when the cops came, said, wasn't the drink, it was the spit.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
In Canada, if you spit on somebody, it's assault.
Wow. Is that right?
Yes, it's assault.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Speaking of heckling, have you ever been heckled on stage?
Yeah, I've been
And
heckled.
How have you managed?
Not as much lately, but
Tell us a story.
Who does it best?
okay. So I was doing a club in London, England. I was living at the Comedy Store in Piccadilly Circus, one of the best clubs in the
Beautiful.
world.
Yeah, I
Beautiful
think I've
club.
been there. Yeah.
Beautiful club. I'm in the front row, and this guy's sitting there, and he goes, "Go home, you fat bastard. Go back to America with your cheeseburgers and your guns." I thought, is that a heckle or a political statement? What cheeseburgers and guns?
Yeah.
And I said to the guy, look, man, I'm from, not that anything wrong with America because I love America, but I'm from Canada. And then he goes to me, fuck Canada. He goes, what did Canada ever do? What did Canada or America ever do for England? And I said, well, I'm not a history buff.
Yeah.
But I said, if it wasn't for Canada and America, and you could say Australia, you'd be heckling me in German, Malaka, because it came over. And let me answer your other question. The reason I'm fat is every time I banged your mom, she baked a pie. You fish and chip eating motherfuckers, a pastodialo. And then I said, mind the gap between your teeth.
Classic.
And he goes, well, what does America have that England doesn't have? I said, dentists. That's what we have in America.
Wow.
So I gave it to him. So
Yeah.
it was one of those things
I think there's a one rule. I think we've talked about it. You never heckle someone with a mic.
with the mic.
Yeah.
You just let it go.
No, and I gave it to him.
Yeah.
And the crowd was laughing. They didn't laugh.
Yeah.
So whatever the stuff was going on there, but it happens.
Yeah.
Not often you can get a guy. Sometimes they're really drunk.
Yeah.
So they'll say shit,
Yeah.
It's rare at a Greek show, like
Yeah.
a Greek, but they get the odd guy, There's one comic I knew, Lawrence Morgenstern, God rest his soul, he passed away. A funny comic from Toronto. Some guy kept heckling him and wouldn't stop. And he goes, if cocks had wings, your mouth would be an airport. And I fucking laughed. The brilliance of it, and because the guy kept heckling him.
Yeah.
And he goes, I let him go. I had to get him back,
Yeah.
And then,
What a
so
classic.
many, there's so classics like
Yeah.
that. It's not as much now.
Well, look, we're getting close to the end here, but let's quickly talk about your brother from another mother, the great Russell Peters.
Russell Peters is one of the funniest guys I've ever met in my fucking life. He really, that guy, I met him in Ottawa. I was a host of the show, and he was a split middle. Imagine this Greek kid and an Indian kid meeting in Ottawa, 1993, 94. And he came from Toronto, was in Ottawa, and He told me he worked at a Greek restaurant. He knew Greeks. He knew Malakias. He's one of those guys you became instant friends with.
Yeah.
And I've been instant friends with the guy forever. And I saw we were coming up together, and I saw that his audience, huge audience, Indian audience, 1.4 billion.
Yeah, wow.
Starting to sell at the shows. And then I saw what was going on. And I said, Russell, you're going to grow out of these comedy clubs soon. You're going to go to theaters, and then from theaters you can go to arenas, which successfully he's done everywhere in the world, big time in Australia.
Yep.
And first time I came to Australia, he brought me with him. He goes, it's a Greek audience. I got my foot in the door with him, and then slowly started with the CDs, and then was able to build up. And I still do shows with him, because the thing with him is that I just did a tour with him. We did Texas, and we did like North Carolina, South Carolina. And the thing with him though is touring is grueling, but it's funny. He's funny. Like he'll say things like, and now he knows all the Greek words. And if you see somebody, kita podia, kita he says all these freaking words. Now he says it in Greek now.
Yeah.
So the code now on the road is to speak in Greek.
Wow.
And Russell, and he goes, yo man, what are you talking about? Hey man, you don't understand. You don't understand Greek. Russell knows more than people think. Because I talked to him in Greek, right? So he gets it.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's just been a phenomenon, He had a TV series called Indian Detective. I was in it with him.
Yep.
I've toured literally around the world with the guy. Our kids play together.
Wow.
He lives, I live 10 minutes from him in LA. We get together. So, and we get, he messaged me the other day. I think he's in New York. And then he's going to be going to do some shows somewhere else. And he asked me, how's Australia going? I think he's coming here this year. He's going to come later this year.
Okay.
He's going next week. He's going to England. And then he's going to go to, he wanted me to go with him to Dubai and Qatar. But I said, I have my tour in Australia. He goes, oh yeah, you got your tour. I got my tour. Look at you now, your tour, my tour. He's like, it makes fun. But he really is, he's got a huge cardia. Huge.
Yeah.
And we just laugh, man. He just the malakias we do, and a lot of it is is on the road.
Yep.
So I'll tell you a funny story with him, because all of Russell's most of the security guys are huge black American or Canadian guys.
Yep.
Good guys. Big guys though, like fucking big fucking mountains, just big men.
Yeah.
And we were in Chicago Chicago's like Sydney or Melbourne, a lot of Greeks.
Yeah.
So we're at this pancake place. So the guys are sitting there, and there's the two security guys, Russell, me, and another person. So the three Greek women, they were Greek women. Now they see big black guys in Chicago. So you hear them talking to each other.
Yeah.
And Russell's right there. Now Russell, I couldn't hear it as much. So the one was saying, prosexita laftasu. Because they're putting the money down for the bill.
This is in Greek.
In Greek. And they're right there. So Russell caught on their Greek, right? And she pointed to the money. He figured it out. And then, now you got an Indian guy with black guys. And I'm sitting I'm the furthest away. I couldn't hear everybody. So when they go pro six to the lafta, and then Russell goes, Aftata lafta in the casas. And they just froze. They froze. And they were like, oh shit, they just took off. Because the Xeftila, the embarrassment. And they're like, well, why is this guy talking Greek? But he said it broken up Greek, right? Aftata lafta di casas.
Yeah.
Because he knows Greek. He doesn't know all the... Classic. But he knows enough, topiruni, shit like that.
Yeah.
So translate for our English listeners, that means, is that your money?
Yeah. Is that your money? Aftata lafta di casa, is that your money?
Yeah.
Boom! They went out the door because they thought now he's heard. I don't think he understood everything they said, but just when you say a few words in Greek, oh shit, we got busted.
He got enough.
And they took off.
Yeah.
Wow. And we were laughing, man. And we were like, dude, this guy's loaded. He's not going to take your money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guy's a multi-millionaire. It didn't matter. They go,
That's unbelievable.
Kula, prosexta lafta.
And an Indian breaks out in Greek.
But the funny thing is, like, in all of it, like, he's done a couple of Greek bits, but Greek isn't the main thing that he, that he sort of plays with. and yet here he is speaking fucking Greek.
He's brilliant. I think he's got some kind of fucking. I mean, you give him any language, he knows something. He looks at people, he can tell Korean, Vietnamese, Chinese. He can tell by the fatsa, like he knows.
He's so good at picking up on these things.
He's so good at picking up the little things. Yeah. Greek, Italian, Croatian, South African, Jamaican, Trini. He's a master of that.
Yeah. And the accents. He pulls off
does all the
accents.
Like, you don't go there no more. He Batman. Yeah. You know, he does all this shit. And they love it. Kinesi love it.
50 cent, a lot of
50
money.
cent, a lot of my 50 cent here, 50 cent there. You get $1. Go to dollar store. You get gift.
$1.
$1. And you know, he makes fun of them and they love it.
Yeah. Even his own culture.
Unbelievable.
Of course, especially his own culture.
Yeah.
Classic.
Oh, dear.
Fun guy, man. Fun guy.
He is. Well, we love him too. Well, look, I think we've probably kept you too long, man. But, mate.
Yeah, I don't even know how long we're talking for. We're just talking for, I like when you guys, like typical Greek podcast. Ela misiora, da carne. 4 days later, fiaxame supa to, da cazzo.
Yeah. What do you want for proino?
Proino ti da fiaxame, you know.
Well, Ange, mate, we can't wait to see you live this weekend. I'm coming on Sunday, so we'll have a good time.
Wonderful, guys. Thanks for having me on Ouzo Talk. And we had an Ouzo, and did we ever talk?
We did.
I really appreciate it. You know, I love Australia.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it because I'm here. I just really feel like just sitting here with you guys for the last couple of hours, we have so much in common talking about things. You know, I think that's and listen. Congrats on you guys and with what you're doing. We need more of this in the world. People need to know more of what's going on. We're not passing it on enough to the next generation. And they're going to become like those Italians in New York, 9th generation, who don't even know where their families are from.
Well, that's part of what we're trying to do.
Man. You got to go to comedy shows. You got to go to Greece. You got to have an Ouzo. You got to do all that stuff.
That's it.
Fantastic. Look, thank you for coming out as well. We know you got a show on tonight as well. So
I got 2 shows tonight.
2 shows
so
tonight.
I don't even know where they are. One's at Factory and one's at the Comedy Store.
Comedy Store.
I did the Gallo. I don't even know. They don't tell me nothing. They just pinicky.
Yeah.
Do the show. Okay, 5 minutes.
Well, just quickly, where can people find you online? Go
to funnygreek.com. Funny Greek, not geek. On Instagram or on Twitter, go to Angelo Tsarouchas or Funny Greek. It's all listed there. Some people can't spell Tsarouchas, and I'm on like LinkedIn and Instagram, even TikTok.
Oh, you're on TikTok as well.
TikTok too now. Some of the videos have gone crazy. You know,
fantastic.
so my kid's on TikTok, so I go on TikTok and the Efniki. Efemerida Tis Otavas, which has a circulation of 14 people. I'm featured there every week. Big shout out to the paper in Canada.
Outstanding. Well, look, we'll put the links. We'll put the links to the website in the show notes here. Angelo Tsarouchas, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks, guys.
Man.
Thanks a lot,
so
Nick
much,
and Tom.
Pleasure.
I'm so happy to be part of your gay podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
It doesn't matter, guys. We're Greeks. It's okay.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
No, there's anything wrong with that. No, thanks, guys. My pleasure to be here.
Thank you
so much.
It's been awesome.
Find us on @Ouzo Talk on most social media platforms or Ouzo_Talk on Instagram. If you've got an email to send us or you've got some questions, ouzotalk@outlook.com. Nick Athanasiou, thank you very much, mate.
Mate, Tom, that was fantastic. You did really well. I don't know how you spat all that out. We've had Ouzo, we had beer, we had everything.
Yeah.
So, awesome. Great show. Love it, guys. Thank you, Tom. You're a legend.
care.
See you guys.
Ακολουθήστε μας στο Soundees, στο Spotify, στο Apple Podcasts και στο Google Podcasts.